Hey guys, tonight we begin with the bone. Chilling, nightmare-inducing, and absolutely primal world of being hunted by the TSAVO man, EATERS. You've seen the ghost and the darkness. You think you know this story. You have no idea what it was actually like to sleep in a tent knowing that two lions were actively hunting you, not as prey of opportunity, as targeted victims. So, before we go any further, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from and what time it is for you. It is always fascinating to see who is joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Imagine this. It is March 1898. You are in TSAVO, Kenya, middle of nowhere. You are a railway worker, one of thousands building the Uganda Railway across East Africa, the British Empire's latest project to connect the interior to the coast. You signed up for hard labour, expected heat, disease, difficult conditions. You did not sign up to be systematically hunted and eaten by two lions that seem to enjoy the work. The first attack happens without warning. One night, a worker named Ungun Singh simply disappears from his tent, not taken by disease, not lost in the bush, dragged through the canvas by something strong enough to pull a grown man like he weighs nothing. The tent is shredded. The ground outside shows drag marks, and in the morning they find what is left of him 100 yards away. Not much, bones mostly, picked clean. The lions didn't just kill him, they ate him, methodically, thoroughly, like he was dinner, because he was. This is 1898. Lions attacking humans isn't supposed to happen like this. Lions are supposed to fear humans, supposed to avoid camps, supposed to hunt natural prey like zebra and antelope, which are plentiful in the area. These lions don't care about zebras. They want human flesh. Prefer it, apparently, and they're good at getting it. You are trying to process this. One attack. Tragic. Unusual. But surely isolated. Surely the lions will move on. Surely this won't happen again. You are wrong. The next night, another worker is taken. Then another. Then another. A pattern emerges. Every few nights. Dragged from their tent. Eaten. The lions are hunting on a schedule. Your schedule. Your camp. Your co-workers. The workers start calling them the ghost and the darkness, which sounds poetic until you realize it is literal. The ghost because one of the lions is a light tan, almost pale color, difficult to see in the moonlight. The darkness because the other is darker, easier to spot but somehow more terrifying. Two lions working together, hunting humans, and they're getting better at it. Let's talk about what makes these lions different. Normal lions have manes, big, impressive manes that make them look majestic. These lions have no manes. They're maneless males, which is unusual, but not unheard of in this region. The lack of manes makes them look wrong, alien. Like lions, but not quite, and it makes them more effective killers. No mane means no visual obstruction. Means they can move through brush silently. Means when they grab you, there is nothing to grab back. The size is terrifying. These aren't normal-sized lions. The first one killed, later measured, was over 9 feet long from nose to tail. Probably weighed close to 400 pounds. The second was even larger. These are apex predators in their prime. Healthy, strong, fast. And for reasons no one fully understands, they've decided that humans are food. You are a railway worker named Kareem. You are from Punjab. You came to Africa for wages that seemed good back home, seemed worth the risk. You are rethinking that now. You lie in your tent at night, listening, always listening, because the lions are silent and they're not, until you hear the sound that means someone is dying, the sound you hope you never hear directed at you. The sound of an attack is specific. First, the ripping of canvas. The lions claw through tents like they're paper, then the scream. The victim realizes what is happening, tries to fight, tries to escape. Fails. The scream is cut short, sometimes by the lion's jaws on the throat, sometimes by the sheer terror causing the victim to pass out. Then the dragging sound, something heavy being pulled through dirt and grass. Then silence. Terrible silence, because everyone knows what comes next. What comes next is the feeding. Sometimes you hear it. Sometimes the lions drag their victim far enough away that you don't. But when you do hear it, it is worse than the attack. The crunching of bones, the tearing of flesh, the wet sounds of predators eating. It lasts hours. The lions are in no hurry. They've learned that humans won't come out at night to stop them. They've learned they can take their time, make a meal of it, and they do. You try to sleep after hearing this. You can't. No one can. You lie there in the dark, knowing the lions are out there, knowing they might come for your tent next, knowing that if they do, the canvas won't stop them, the thorny fence around the camp won't stop them, your co-workers won't stop them. Nothing stops them. They take who they want, when they want. And there is nothing you can do but wait and hope it is not you. The railway project is run by Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson. He is the chief engineer. British, experienced in Africa. Confident. He has faced dangerous animals before. Lions don't intimidate him. At first, the first few attacks, he treats them as unfortunate, but manageable, sets up basic precautions, tells workers to reinforce tents, posts guards, assumes the lions will move on or be scared off. He is wrong. Patterson decides to hunt the lions. He is a decent shot, has hunted before, thinks this will be straightforward. Track the lions, shoot them. Problem solved. It doesn't work that way. These lions are smart. They've learned to avoid him. When he sets up in a hunting blind near a fresh kill, they don't return. When he patrols with armed men, they attack a different part of camp. When he sets traps, they avoid them. It is like they know, like they understand. He is trying to kill them, and they're playing a game. And they're winning the game. The death toll rises, 5 workers dead. 10. 20. The exact number becomes disputed, because the railway company doesn't want publicity, doesn't want the British press writing about workers being eaten by lions. Bad for recruitment, bad for investors. So they minimize the deaths. Call them accidents, disease, anything but what they are. Murder by lion. The workers aren't stupid. They know what is happening. They know the company is lying. They know they're being fed to lions, so the railway can stay on schedule. Some quit, walk away from the job, risk the journey back through hundreds of miles of wilderness rather than stay in TSAVO. Many don't make it, die from exposure, disease, other predators. But they prefer those odds to staying in camp, to being hunted. You don't quit, can't afford to. You have family back in Punjab. They need the money you are sending. So you stay. You stay and you pray. 5 times a day you pray. Pray that Allah will protect you. Pray that the lions will take someone else. You are ashamed of that second prayer, but you pray it anyway, because survival instinct doesn't care about morality. The railway workers try everything to protect themselves. They build thorn fences. Bomas, they're called, circles of thorny acacia branches that should keep predators out. The lions walk through them. The thorns that would stop any normal animal don't stop these lions. They push through, dragging workers out through gaps they create. The thorns tear their skin. You can see blood on the thorns the next morning. But the lions don't care. Don't learn. Keep coming. Fire is supposed to scare lions. Every African knows this. Lions fear fire. So the workers build huge bonfires around the camp. Keep them burning all night. Feed them constantly. The camp is bright, lit up like daytime. Surely the lions won't attack in the firelight. They do. They attack anyway. Grab workers from tents, mere yards from roaring fires. The light doesn't deter them. Might actually help them see their targets better. The fires become markers showing them where the humans are concentrated. Someone suggests building platforms in trees. Lions can't climb, right? Wrong. Lions can absolutely climb. Maybe not well, but well enough. A worker builds a sleeping platform 15 feet up an acacia tree. Thinks he is safe. Thinks he has finally outsmarted the predators. The lions pull him down. He falls. Breaks his leg. Can't run. The lions take their time with him. The screaming lasts a long time. Too long. No one tries the tree platforms again. Patterson builds a trap. A cage with a goat inside as bait. When the lion enters to grab the goat, a door drops. Traps the lion inside. Clever. Should work. The lions ignore it completely. They're not interested in goat. They want human. They've tasted human flesh. Nothing else compares. This is the horror of it. They're not desperate, not starving. They prefer humans. Choose humans. The way you might prefer steak over chicken. That is what you are to them. The preferred option. The psychological impact is devastating. You stop sleeping. Can't sleep. When you close your eyes, you imagine claws ripping through canvas. Imagine teeth in your throat. Imagine being dragged into darkness while your friends watch and do nothing. Because there is nothing they can do. So you stay awake, night after night. Exhaustion becomes another enemy. You are falling asleep, standing up during the day. making mistakes, nearly getting crushed by railway equipment because you are too tired to focus. The work slows, stops completely some days. Workers refuse to leave the camp centre, refuse to work in isolated areas. The railway company threatens them, threatens to withhold pay, to send them home without compensation. The workers don't care. Better poor than dead, better unemployed than eaten. The railway, the British Empire's grand project, grinds to a halt. Stopped not by terrain, or weather, or disease. Stopped by 2 lions. Let's talk about the specific hunting patterns. The lions are smart, strategic. They don't attack randomly. They watch the camp, learn the routines, learn where guards are posted, learn which tents are occupied by how many people. They prefer tents with 1 or 2 occupants. Easier targets, less resistance. They circle the camp before attacking. Workers see their eyes reflecting firelight, green circles in the darkness. Moving, watching, choosing. The lions attack between midnight and 4 a.m., the deepest part of night, when humans sleep most deeply, when guards are most tired, when it is darkest even with fires. They come from downwind. So the camp dogs don't smell them. Yes, there are dogs. Guard dogs, supposed to alert for predators. The dogs are terrified. They smell the lions and hide, whimper, refuse to bark. The one dog that did bark at the lions was killed, torn apart, left as a message. The other dogs learned. When a lion chooses a tent, it approaches slowly, testing, listening, making sure the occupant is asleep. Then it strikes. Fast, claws through canvas. Jaws on the victim before they're fully awake. The grab is specific, usually the shoulder or arm, something to control the victim. Then the drag, out through the torn canvas. The victim is conscious for this, knows what is happening, can feel the lion's breath, the teeth, the impossible strength, can hear their own screaming until they can't. Some victims fight back. It never works. A man named Hemraj tried. He was grabbed by the shoulder, had a knife, managed to stab the lion, drew blood. The lion dropped him and ran. Hemraj thought he'd won, thought he'd driven it off. He was wrong. The lion came back with its partner. They took Hemraj together. What they did to him, the state of what remained, was so horrifying that Patterson ordered it buried immediately without the usual examination. The message was clear. Don't fight back. It just makes them angry. The lions develop preferences. The ghost, the lighter one, seems to prefer smaller victims. Goes for the Indian workers. The indentured labourers who tend to be slighter in build. The darkness prefers larger prey. Takes African workers. British supervisors. Doesn't discriminate by rank. A tent is a tent. Flesh is flesh. The company tries to spin this as the lions being equal opportunity. Like it is admirable. Like being eaten democratically is somehow better. Patterson's hunting attempts become more desperate. He builds elaborate blinds. Sits in them for hours, days. Nothing. The lions don't approach. He tries poison. Strychnine in meat. The lions don't eat it. They smell the poison. Or maybe they just don't eat dead meat. They want fresh kills. Want to do the killing themselves. He tries shooting from camp at night. Fires at shadows, at sounds. Wastes ammunition. Hits nothing. The lions seem to mock him. Attack the night after he runs out of bullets and has to wait for resupply. You are reaching your breaking point. 3 months of this. 90 nights of terror. You've lost count of how many co-workers are dead. The company stopped announcing deaths, just removes the bodies, burns the tents, acts like nothing happened. But you know, everyone knows. You see the gaps. The empty spaces where tents used to be, where friends used to sleep. The silence where voices used to be. Sleep deprivation does things to your mind. You start seeing lions that aren't there, hearing attacks that haven't happened, jumping at shadows. Other workers are the same. Paranoid. Twitchy, turning on each other. Fights break out over nothing, over sleeping positions, over who is closer to the centre of camp, over who might be safer. The lions are destroying the camp without even being present. The fear does the work for them. Some workers lose it completely. A man named Abdullah runs into the bush one night, just runs screaming into the darkness, toward the lions, choosing his death rather than waiting for it. They find him the next day. What is left? The lions found him quickly, made it quick. Maybe that is what Abdullah wanted, quick, on his terms, rather than being dragged from his tent, rather than waiting. The waiting is worse than the dying. Everyone knows this now. Patterson finally has success. Sort of. He shoots at a lion, wounds it. The blood trail is obvious. He has hit it, damaged it. It should be easy to track, should be weakened. He follows the trail with a group of workers. The trail leads into thick brush. They can hear the lion, hear it breathing, growling, waiting. No one wants to go into the brush. Patterson orders them. They refuse. He goes alone, nearly dies. The wounded lion charges. He shoots it again, kills it. But it is not over. That was the ghost. The darkness is still out there, still hunting, still killing. The attacks continue. One lion dead, one alive, and the alive one is angry. It attacks more frequently, more aggressively. Like it is avenging its partner. Like it knows Patterson killed the other lion, and it wants revenge, which is impossible. Lions don't think like that. Except maybe these lions do. These lions that learn to hunt humans, that work together, that showed intelligence no one thought lions possessed. Maybe this one understands loss, understands anger, understands revenge. The darkness becomes bolder, attacks closer to Patterson's tent, like it is targeting him specifically. Patterson builds a stronger platform, sits there with his rifle, night after night, waiting. The lion knows he is there, circles his position. Won't approach, but won't leave either. It is a standoff, man and beast, hunter and hunter, each waiting for the other to make a mistake. You are moved to a new tent, closer to Patterson's position, supposed to be safer, supposed to be protected by his presence. You don't feel safer. You feel like bait, like you are being used to lure the lion in. And you are right. That is exactly what is happening. Patterson is using occupied tents as bait, hoping the lion will attack, will come close enough for a shot. The workers are bait. You are bait. And you know it. And there is nothing you can do about it. The night it happens, you are ready as you can be. You are not sleeping, haven't really slept in weeks, just lying there, waiting. Listening, the camp is quiet, the fires are burning, the guards are posted, everything is as normal as it gets. Which means nothing. The lions have attacked under all these conditions before. You hear it, the sound of canvas tearing, but not your tent, the tent next to yours, 20 feet away, close enough to hear everything. The scream, the struggle, the dragging. Your tent, mate, Ramen, starts to get up, starts to go help. You grab him, pull him back, whisper harshly. Number, there is nothing we can do. He knows you are right, hates you for being right. You listen to your neighbor die, listen to him being dragged past your tent. So close, you could touch the canvas and feel the lion through it. You don't move, don't breathe, don't make a sound. And the lion passes, takes someone else. Not you, survival. But at what cost? Patterson hears the attack, sees the lion dragging its victim, takes the shot, misses in the darkness. The lion drops the victim and runs. Patterson pursues, finds the victim, still alive, barely torn apart, but breathing. They carry him back to camp, try to save him. Can't. He dies an hour later. At least he dies in camp, not in the bush, not alone. Small comfort. Very small. The next night, Patterson is ready. The lion will come back. They always come back. Predators return to kills. He is positioned perfectly. Has enough ammunition, has good light from the moon. When the lion appears, he shoots. Hits it. The lion runs. He tracks it, finds it. It charges. He shoots again. And again. Empties his rifle into it. The lion finally falls. The darkness is dead. Both lions are dead. 9 months of terror. Over finally. Over. The camp erupts. Workers celebrate. Dance. Cry. The nightmare is finished. No more attacks. No more deaths. No more waiting in the dark to be eaten. The relief is overwhelming. Physical. You cry. You are not ashamed. Everyone is crying, hugging each other, laughing and crying and thanking God. It is over. You survived. Against odds that seemed impossible. You survived. But you are not the same. None of the survivors are. You can't sleep in a tent. Can't sleep in darkness. Can't sleep without listening. The sound of canvas moving any canvas makes your heart race. Makes you grab for weapons you don't have. The psychological scars run deep. Deeper than you realize at first. The railway company wants to move on. Wants to forget this happened. Wants the workers back to full production. You can't. None of you can. The work is slow. Halting. Everyone is traumatized. Post-traumatic stress disorder won't have a name for another 50 years. But you have it. All the survivors have it. Nightmares, panic attacks, hypervigilance, the inability to relax, ever. The knowledge that safety is an illusion, that you can be killed at any moment by forces beyond your control. Patterson becomes famous, writes a book, The Man-Eaters of TSAVO. It becomes a bestseller. He is celebrated, invited to speak, treated as a hero, which he is. He killed the lions, ended the attacks, saved lives. But the survivors see it differently. See how long it took, how many died while he tried and failed. They're grateful, but also bitter. A complicated emotion, respect mixed with resentment. He lived in relative safety while they died. He gets fame while they get trauma. The official death toll is listed as 28 workers. Patterson claims it was around 135. The truth is probably in between. The railway company minimized numbers. Patterson might have exaggerated, but the exact number doesn't matter to the dead, doesn't matter to the survivors. Whether it was 28 or 135, it was too many. Each death was a person, had a name, had a family, had dreams that ended in a lion's jaws. The lions' bodies are preserved, sold eventually to the Field Museum in Chicago. They're still there, stuffed, mounted, behind glass. Tourists look at them, take pictures, read the plaques about the man-eaters of TSAVO, the legendary lions that killed dozens. The plaques don't convey the terror, can't convey what it was like to be there, to be hunted, to hear your friends die and know you might be next. The museum display is sanitized, historical, educational. It is not real the way it was real. Scientists study the lions' remains, try to understand why they hunted humans. Some theories emerge. One lion had dental problems, broken teeth, might have found humans easier to kill than traditional prey. The other lion had injuries, might have been too damaged to hunt normally. Or maybe they just learned that humans were easy, soft, slow, poorly defended, and tasted good. Maybe there is no deeper explanation. Maybe they were just efficient predators, exploiting an available food source. The psychological impact on survivors lasts decades. You return to India eventually. Years later, the railway job done. You try to resume normal life. Can't jump at sounds. Can't relax in darkness. Tell your children stories about Africa, about the lions. They don't believe you. Think you are exaggerating, making up tales. You wish you were. Wish it had been exaggeration, but it wasn't. It was real. Every terrifying moment of it. Other workers who survived never leave TSAVO. Not physically. Mentally they're still there. Still in those tents. Still listening for the sound of canvas tearing. Still waiting for death that already passed them by. Some drink to forget. It doesn't work. The alcohol brings nightmares instead of oblivion. Some isolate. Push away family can't experienced. Can't make people understand. How can you explain primal terror to someone who has never felt it? You can't. So you stop trying. Live alone with memories no one else shares. The railway gets completed. The Uganda Railway eventually runs from Mombasa to Kampala. Thousands of miles of track. Millions of pounds sterling invested. Hundreds of workers dead from disease, accidents, and yes, lions. The railway company calls it a success, an engineering triumph, which it is. But the cost was high, measured in lives, in trauma, in families destroyed. The trains run on time. That is what matters to the empire. That is what gets celebrated. The human cost is footnoted. Minimized, eventually forgotten by everyone, except those who paid it. The TSAVO region changes after the railway. More settlement, more development, more humans. Lion populations decline, hunted, pushed out. Their habitat destroyed. Within a generation, lions in TSAVO are rare. Within 2 generations, nearly gone. The man-eaters were an anomaly. A brief, terrifying moment when the natural order reversed, when predators hunted humans instead of the reverse. But humanity won in the end. Always wins. Kills the lions. Paves the wilderness. Builds civilization over the bones of what came before. Progress, they call it. Victory. Manifest destiny. Whatever helps justify the cost. You sometimes wonder about the lions, not with sympathy. You can't feel sympathy for creatures that tried to eat you, that ate your friends. But with a kind of grim understanding, they were doing what predators do. Hunting, feeding, surviving. They just happened to choose the wrong prey. Happened to choose prey that could fight back with rifles and determination. They lost. You won. But winning doesn't feel like you thought it would. doesn't bring back the dead, doesn't erase the memories, doesn't let you sleep through the night, doesn't stop the dreams. The dreams are always the same. You are in the tent. It is dark. You hear the sound. Canvas ripping. You try to run. Can't move. Try to scream. Can't make sound. The lion comes through. You see its eyes. Green in the darkness. Feel its breath. Hot, smelling of blood and meat. Feel the claws, the teeth, the dragging. You wake up screaming. Every time. Your wife learns to sleep in another room. Your children learn not to wake you. The dreams don't stop. 50 years later you are still having them. We'll have them until you die. Some survivors gather once a year, on the anniversary of the first attack. Meet in London where some have relocated. In Punjab where others returned. Drink together. Share stories. The only people who understand, who were there, who survived. Each year fewer come. Death thins the ranks. Disease. Old age, the normal attrition of time. Eventually, you are the last one. The only survivor still alive. The only one who remembers firsthand. The only one who can say, I was there, I was hunted. I survived. And no one believes you anymore. Think you are senile. Making up stories. Exaggerating. You stop telling the stories. Keep them inside, where they eat at you differently than the lions ever could. The legacy of the TSAVO man, EATERS, extends beyond the immediate victims, beyond the survivors. It enters popular culture, books, movies. The Ghost and the Darkness with Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas, reasonably accurate, captures some of the terror. But it is still Hollywood, still sanitized, still entertainment. The real thing wasn't entertaining, was pure horror, was existential dread made manifest. Was the knowledge that you could be eaten, not might be, could be, and there was nothing you could do to prevent it except hope you weren't chosen. The question people always ask, what did it feel like to be hunted? To know you were prey? Words don't do it justice. But try to imagine, you are in your house, safe, comfortable. Now imagine that safety is an illusion, that predators are watching, learning your patterns, choosing when to strike. Imagine lying in bed knowing that tonight might be the night, knowing that your walls, your locks, your security systems mean nothing, that the predator will come through regardless, and you can't leave, can't run, have to stay, have to wait, have to hope. Now imagine that for 9 months, 270 nights. Every single night might be your last. Every sound might be death, approaching. Every moment of darkness might be when the predator chooses you. Can you imagine that? Can you really? Because the survivors couldn't either, until they lived it, until they experienced the slow erosion of sanity that comes from prolonged terror, until they understood that the human mind isn't designed for sustained predator pressure, that we're supposed to be at the top of the food chain, that when we're not, something in us breaks. The TSAVO man, EATERS, proved something uncomfortable. Humans are not apex predators by biology. We're apex predators by technology, by tools, by cooperation. Take away the guns, the fires, the group defense, and we're just meat. Soft, slow, poorly defended. Easy prey for any sufficiently motivated predator. The lions in TSAVO were sufficiently motivated. They showed what happens when predators lose their fear of humans. When they learn that humans are food. Easy food. Abundant food. They adapted, learned, became more efficient. If Patterson hadn't killed them, they might have taught other lions. Might have spread the knowledge. Humans as prey could have changed the dynamic of the entire region. This isn't theoretical. It happened again. Not in TSAVO specifically, but elsewhere. Lions in Tanzania, leopards in India, tigers in Bangladesh, crocodiles in various locations, predators that learn to hunt humans. Each time, it is terrifying. Each time, it disrupts the assumed natural order. Each time, humans respond with overwhelming force. Kill the predator. Kill related predators. Kill predators generally. Because we can't tolerate the threat. Can't accept being prey. Our psychology requires us to be predators. To be safe. To be in control. When we're not, we respond with violence until we are again. The TSAVO man EATERS died in 1898, over a century ago. But the story persists. Why? Because it touches something primal. Some deep fear that predates civilization, the fear of being eaten, of being hunted, of being prey. Modern humans don't face this fear normally. We've eliminated most predators, built cities that exclude them, created an artificial world where we're safe from natural dangers. But the fear remains buried. Dormant, waiting. The TSAVO story activates it, reminds us that we're not as safe as we think, that nature doesn't care about our civilization, that predators exist, and given opportunity, they'll eat us. Just like they ate the workers in TSAVO. You die in 1952, old age surrounded by family who love you but don't understand you, don't understand the nightmares, the fear of darkness, the need to sleep with lights on, the way you startle at sounds, the stories you told that they didn't believe. You die and the last first-hand account dies with you. Now it is all second-hand, history stories, movies, not real in the way it was real, not visceral, not terrifying, just interesting. Just a story about man eating lions a long time ago in a place far away. But it was real. You were there. You were hunted. You felt the terror, heard the screams, knew death was stalking you, and you survived. Not through courage, though you were brave, not through skill, though you learned, through luck. Random chance, the lions chose others. Not you, you lived because others died. Survivor's guilt is another term that won't exist for decades. But you have it. Always had it. Why them, and not you? No answer. Just random chance. The arbitrary nature of predation. The lottery of death. You won by losing others. The TSAVO bridge still stands. Part of the railway trains still cross it. Thousands of passengers yearly. None know the history. None know about the months when construction stopped, when lions ruled, when humans were prey. There is a small plaque, mentions the man, EATERS brief. Sanitized. Doesn't convey the terror. Can't convey it. You can't put that on a plaque. Can't summarize 9 months of horror in a few sentences. Can't make people understand who weren't there. Modern TSAVO is a national park. Wildlife preserve. Lions live there still, protected. Tourists come to see them, take photos, from the safety of vehicles, with guides who know what they're doing, with the assumption that lions won't attack because modern lions don't hunt humans, have been conditioned to avoid humans, have learned that humans mean danger, the reverse of what the man-eaters learned. The natural order restored, humans on top, lions afraid. As it should be, as it must be for our psychological comfort. But sometimes, rarely, a lion looks at a vehicle wrong, approaches when it shouldn't, shows too much interest in humans, and that lion gets relocated or killed. Not taking chances. Can't take chances because we remember, culturally, historically. We remember TSAVO. Remember what happens when lions learn to hunt humans. Remember the death toll, the terror, the 9 months of nightmare. We remember and we make sure it never happens again. Never can happen again. Kill the lions before they kill us. Prevent the learning. Prevent the adaptation. Maintain the order. Maintain our position. Apex predator by any means necessary. The Field Museum lions stare with glass eyes, frozen mid-stride, jaws open, teeth visible. You visited once, travelled to Chicago specifically to see them, to confront your nightmares made tangible. They're smaller than you remember, diminished by death and taxidermy. The plaques say they were 9 feet long, 300 pounds, impressive for lions, but not monsters, not demons, just animals you know better. No, that size doesn't convey danger, that these stuffed carcasses don't represent the living terror, the intelligence, the hunting skill, the patient stalking, the successful kills. Numbers don't convey horror, statistics don't convey fear. The museum can display the bodies, but not the experience, not the reality. You stand there an hour, staring. Other visitors come and go, look briefly, read the plaques, move on. Don't understand, can't understand. You are the only one in the room who knows, who was there, who was hunted by these specific lions, who heard them in the darkness, who slept or tried to sleep knowing they were out there, choosing, planning, hunting. You are the only one who sees the display and feels terror rather than curiosity, fear rather than interest. The only one who understands that these stuffed lions killed your friends, tried to kill you, would have killed you if luck had fallen differently. Security asks if you are okay. You've been standing too long, crying. Didn't realize you were crying. You leave. Never go back. Don't need to. The lions are in your head anyway. Have been for 50 years. Will be until you die. The museum display is redundant, unnecessary. You carry the real lions with you. The living ones, the hunting ones. The ones that existed in those 9 months of 1898. Those lions can't be put in museums, can't be displayed, can't be killed. They live in memory, in trauma, in the permanent psychological scars of survivors. Those are the real TSAVO man. Eaters, and they're still hunting, still killing, just differently. Not bodies, Minds, dreams, peace. They took those when they took your friends, took them and never gave them back. The railway workers who died don't have a monument. Should have. Should have something acknowledging their sacrifice, their terror, their deaths. But they were labourers. Expendable, replaceable. The British Empire didn't build monuments to dead labourers, built monuments to engineers, to vision, to progress. The men who died building that progress footnotes, numbers, unnamed victims in a story about lions, and the white man who killed them. Patterson is remembered. The workers aren't, except by families who wondered why the money stopped coming, why letters stopped arriving, who never learned the truth, who died not knowing their sons, husbands, brothers were eaten by lions in Africa. That knowledge would have been awful, but not knowing was worse. You tried to tell the families after you returned, visited the villages in Punjab where workers had come from, told the families what happened. Some appreciated it, got closure. Some didn't believe you, thought you were lying, making excuses. Their loved ones must have run away, must have stolen money and disappeared. Anything but eaten by lions. That was too absurd, too horrific, too impossible. You stopped trying to convince them. Let them believe what they needed to believe. Carried the truth alone. One more burden added to the rest. The nightmares change as you age. In early years they're accurate, replaying actual events. Memories disguised as dreams. Later, they become symbolic. The lions represent other things. Death, loss, fear generally. But the core remains. Being hunted, being helpless, being prey. The specifics change, but the essence doesn't. Always hiding, always waiting for the attack, always failing to escape, always dying in the dream just before you wake. Every night, a small death. Every morning, a resurrection. For 50 years, until the dreams and reality blur. Until you are not sure which is which. Your grandchildren ask about the scars. The ones on your shoulder where claws caught you. Not from the lions. From barbed wire when you dove for cover during an attack that targeted someone else. But you tell them it was the lions. Easier than explaining the complexity, the trauma, the way you hurt yourself in fear. They're impressed. Think you fought a lion. Think you are brave. You are not brave. Were never brave. Were just there. Just survived. Bravery is a story people tell afterward. In the moment there is only terror and the animal drive to live. Nothing noble about it. Nothing heroic. Just survival. Raw, desperate. Unglamorous. But the grandchildren don't need to know that. Let them have their hero grandfather. Better than the truth. The broken man who never recovered from 9 months in hell. The question of why these specific lions became man eaters has never been fully answered. Theories exist. Evidence exists. But certainty doesn't. Maybe the dental problems. Maybe injuries making normal prey too difficult. Maybe they stumbled on an easy kill and learned from it. Maybe environmental factors, drought. Prey scarcity. Cattle plague that killed their normal food sources. Maybe human encroachment into their territory. Maybe they were just aberrant individuals. Psychopaths in lion form. Born wrong. Wired wrong. Finding pleasure in killing humans specifically. We'll never know. The lions are dead. Can't be interviewed. Can't explain their motivations. We're left with speculation, with theories, with unanswerable questions. Why is the question that haunts survivors most? Why did this happen? Why these lions? Why us? No answers. Just the persistent ache of traumatic memory. Some workers claimed the lions were demons, supernatural, sent by angry spirits, punishment for disturbing sacred land. The railway cut through tribal territories, destroyed sacred sites, disrupted traditional patterns. Maybe the lions were vengeance, divine or spiritual retribution. Patterson dismissed this as superstition, rational British mind rejecting irrational native beliefs. But the workers knew what they knew. Had experiences Patterson didn't, saw things he didn't. The way the lions seemed to know, to plan, to avoid traps, to target specific individuals, to show intelligence beyond normal animal behavior. Was it supernatural? Probably not. But try telling that to men who watched their friends dragged into darkness, who felt the presence of malevolent intelligence, who knew they were facing something beyond normal. Belief is shaped by experience. Their experience shaped belief in demonic lions. Who is to say they were wrong? The Africans, the local Taita and Kamba people, had stories about lions hunting humans. Ancient stories passed down for generations. They knew this could happen. New lions could become man. Eaters under certain conditions knew how to respond, how to protect themselves. The British ignored this knowledge, dismissed it as primitive superstition, proceeded with their plans without consulting local wisdom, and workers died. If Patterson had listened to the Africans from the start, maybe fewer would have died. Maybe different precautions would have been taken. Maybe the lions would have been killed sooner. But colonial arrogance prevented listening, prevented learning, cost lives, a pattern repeated throughout colonial history. Ignore native knowledge. Pay the price. Learn the hard way. Too late for those already dead. You learned Swahili phrases from African workers. Basic communication. One phrase stuck with you. Simba Magia Maktu. The lion eats man. They said it matter of factly. Not surprised, not shocked. Just acknowledging reality. Yes, sometimes lions eat people. This is known. Be careful. Take precautions. But ultimately, if the lion wants you, the lion takes you. That is how it is. Accept it. That acceptance, that fatalism, helped some workers cope. Helped them continue. Helped them function despite the fear. You never achieved that acceptance. Never stopped being terrified. Never made peace with the possibility of being eaten. Cultural difference, maybe. Background. Temperament. Whatever the reason, you envied those who could accept, could continue without the consuming fear that ate at you, that still eats at you 50 years later. The number 135, Patterson's estimate of deaths, disputed, probably exaggerated, but maybe not. The railway company had incentive to minimize. Patterson had incentive to maximize. The truth is probably between official figures and his estimate, but consider this. Many workers who disappeared were listed as deserted, assumed to have quit and left, not eaten. How many of those deserters were actually lion victims? How many bodies were never found, never counted? How many men vanished into the African bush, taken by lions but recorded as runaways? The true number will never be known. Could be 28, could be more than 35, could be more. The dead don't care about accounting accuracy. The number doesn't change their death, doesn't make it more or less tragic. Each death was total, absolute, the end of a consciousness, a life irreversible. Whether one of 28 or one of 935, still dead, still gone, still matters. Patterson's book made him wealthy, famous, set him up for life. He dined out on the story for decades, gave lectures, wrote articles, became the authoritative voice on the TSAVO man. Eaters, the survivors, those who could read English, found his account strange, accurate in facts, wrong in feeling. He described the hunt, the tracking, the eventual kills, described his feelings, his fear, his determination. But he couldn't describe what the workers felt, couldn't convey the sustained terror of being prey. He was the hunter. Even when afraid, he was hunting the lions. The workers were prey, fundamentally different experience, fundamentally different psychological impact. His book is valuable historical document, but it is incomplete. It is the predator's story. The prey story wasn't written, couldn't be written. Most prey didn't survive to write. Those who did lacked the education, the language, the platform. Their story exists in fragments, in nightmares, in trauma passed down through families, in the invisible wounds that history doesn't record. You are asked once in your old age if you forgive the lions. Strange question. Forgiveness implies moral agency. Choice. The lions were animals. Predators. Doing what predators do. There is nothing to forgive. You don't forgive a storm for destroying your house. Don't forgive a disease for killing your child. Don't forgive natural disasters. The lions were a natural disaster, tragic, horrible, but not malicious, not evil. Just nature being nature. Red in tooth and claw, the question you wrestle with is different. Do you forgive the railway company? The British Empire, the people who put you in that situation, who valued railway construction over worker safety, who minimized deaths, who didn't evacuate when they should have. That is where the moral agency lies. That is where blame exists. And no, you don't forgive, can't forgive, won't forgive. They killed you, not physically, but they killed who you were. Left you a traumatized shell, and they never acknowledged it, never apologized, never compensated, never even admitted it happened the way it happened. So no forgiveness. Just bitter survival, living long enough to see them not care about your truth. The last survivor dies in 1967. Not you. You died in 52. But another survivor lived longer. Saw Moore died quietly in a hospital in Nairobi. No one at his bedside knew about the lions, about his past, about what he survived. He was just an old railway pensioner, dying of age and accumulated illness. The nurses were kind, made him comfortable. He died speaking Punjabi, words they didn't understand. The translator later said he was talking about lions, about darkness, about friends long dead, reliving it at the end. Going back to TSAVO in his final moments, the trauma outlived him. Literally was the last thing he experienced, the last thing his brain conjured before shutdown. The lions got him after all, not his body, his mind, his final moments. They won in the end. They always won. With the last survivor dead, the story becomes fully historical. No more first-hand accounts, no more living memory, just records. Books, Patterson's account, company documents, the stuffed lions in Chicago, evidence without experience, knowledge without understanding. We know what happened, can't know how it felt, can't truly grasp the terror except intellectually. The visceral reality is lost, can't be recovered, dies with the last man who lived it, and maybe that is mercy. Maybe the trauma should die, should be buried with its victims. Maybe remembering is enough. Maybe we don't need to feel it, don't need to understand it completely. Maybe it is enough to know it happened, to acknowledge it, to learn what we can learn, to prevent repetition if possible. But you can imagine it. Close your eyes. You are in a tent in Kenya. It is 1898. No electricity, no phones, no rescue coming. You are surrounded by darkness, by wilderness, by predators that have learned you are food. You lie awake listening, knowing that canvas is all that separates you from death, knowing it is not enough, knowing that tonight might be the night, that the sound of tearing fabric might be the last sound you hear, that teeth and claws might be your final sensation, that you might be dragged screaming into darkness to be eaten alive. Can you imagine that? Really imagine it. The fear, the helplessness, the knowledge that you can't escape, can't fight, can only wait and hope you are not chosen. Can you imagine 9 months of that? 270 nights. Can you? You can't, not really. Your brain won't let you. Will pull back from genuine understanding because it is too much, too overwhelming. Self-protection. You can intellectually acknowledge it, can feel sympathy, can recognize it was horrible, but you can't truly understand, can't feel what they felt. And that is probably good. That level of sustained terror damages people, broke the survivors, haunted them for life. You don't need that. Don't want that. Be grateful you are separated from it by time and distance. Be grateful you live in a world where lions don't hunt you, where you can sleep safely, where predation is something that happens to other species, not to you. Never to you. But remember it happened. Remember that for 9 months in 1898 in TSAVO, Kenya, humans were prey, were hunted, were eaten by 2 lions that broke the natural order. That showed us we're not as secure as we think. That showed us nature doesn't care about our assumptions, our technology, our civilization. That showed us we're meat, same as any other prey, just better protected usually. Remember the workers who died, the survivors who were broken, the trauma that rippled through families and generations. Remember that the modern world, the safe world, is an artificial construct, maintained by constant effort, removable under the right conditions. Remember the man-eaters. Remember the darkness that hunted humans and won, for 9 months, until it didn't. But for those 9 months it was absolute, was unstoppable, was the thing that proved we're not apex predators by nature, just by advantage. And advantages can be lost. Welcome to TSAVO, 1898, where you are not at the top of the food chain anymore, where every night might be your last, where lions have learned to hunt humans, and they're very good at it, where canvas tents and thorn fences and fires don't keep you safe, where your friends disappear into darkness and are found the next day scattered in pieces, where you work all day building a railway and spend all night waiting to die, where survival is luck, where death is random, where terror is constant. This was real. This happened 125 years ago, close enough to touch, far enough that we've forgotten to be afraid. But the lions remember. Not these lions, they're dead, stuffed in a museum. But lions generally, genetically, instinctively, they know humans are prey. They've always known. We just convince them we're not worth the trouble. We're dangerous prey. Fight back. Kill predators. Not worth the risk. But under the right conditions that calculation changes, the risk becomes worth it. And then we're prey again. Back to our original place in the ecosystem. Food for predators. just like we were for millions of years before we invented weapons. Before we invented civilization, the TSAVO lions remembered our original relationship, predator and prey. For 9 months they restored the ancient dynamic, showed us what we used to be, what we still are, under the right conditions, given the right predators. We're prey. Always have been, always will be. We just forgot. TSAVO was the reminder, delivered with teeth and claws and screams in the darkness, delivered to workers who paid with their lives, with their sanity, with their ability to ever feel safe again. That was the cost of remembering, of being reminded, of learning that civilization is thin, that safety is temporary, that we're meat. Just meat, waiting in the darkness, hoping we're not chosen, praying we're not next, knowing we might be unable to escape. Unable to do anything but wait, and hope, and fear, until the canvas rips, and the screaming starts, and the lions feed, again, always again, forever. This is what being hunted by the TSAVO man, EATERS, was like. Not excitement, not adventure, not a story, pure terror, primal fear. The knowledge that you are prey, that death is stalking you, that there is nothing you can do but survive, or not, based on luck. Nothing else. Just chance, random selection. The arbitrary nature of predation. You could be chosen, or not. No way to know, no way to influence it. Just wait. In darkness with the sound of canvas tearing, and screaming, and bones crunching, the sound of your species being eaten, the sound of the natural order reasserted, the sound of humanity humbled, reminded, taught. The cost of that lesson was measured in lives, in trauma, in permanent psychological damage. The survivors paid with their sanity, their peace, their ability to sleep without nightmares. They paid and paid and paid for the rest of their lives. And no one compensated them, no one even acknowledged the debt. They just died quietly, forgotten, leaving only scattered records. Patterson's book, museum exhibits. Stories that became legends, that became myths. Truth buried under time. But still true, still real, still happened. The lions hunted, the workers died. The survivors broke, and TSAVO remembers. In the darkness in the place where it happened, TSAVO remembers. The land soaked with blood, with fear, with trauma that never fades, never leaves, never releases. TSAVO remembers. Do you? Let's go deeper into specific nights, specific attacks, specific moments that define what this experience actually was. Because generalizations don't convey horror. Specifics do. Details do. The particular moments when everything went wrong and someone died and everyone else had to witness it. The 1st of March, 1898, the first confirmed attack. A worker named Ungan Singh. He is in his tent, sleeping. It is around 2 a.m. The camp is quiet. Guards are posted but tired. It has been a long day of railway work. Everyone is exhausted. The lions have been seen around camp before. Everyone knows they're there. But lions always avoid human settlements. Everyone knows that too. Except these lions don't know. They're supposed to avoid humans. Or don't care. The ghost approaches Ungan's tent, the lighter-coloured lion, moving silently through the thorn fence that is supposed to keep predators out. The thorns catch its hide. Draw blood. The lion doesn't stop, doesn't care. Pain is irrelevant when you are hunting. It reaches the tent. Pauses. Listens. Hears breathing inside. Slow. Regular. The breathing of sleep. Of vulnerability. The lion strikes. Claws through canvas. The sound wakes Ungan. He has maybe 2 seconds. 2 seconds to realize what is happening. To process that a lion is coming through his tent wall. To understand he is about to die. 2 seconds. Not enough time to scream. Not enough time to run. Just enough time to feel pure terror. Then the lion is on him. Jaws on his shoulder. Teeth through muscle. Into bone. The bite is crushing. Designed to break necks. Crack spines. Kill large prey instantly. But Ungan isn't killed instantly. Is still conscious. Still aware. The lion drags him. Through the torn canvas. Out into the night. Away from camp. Away from safety. Away from life. The tent mate wakes. Hears the attack. Sees Ungan being dragged through the wall. Tries to grab him. Tries to pull him back. Gets his hand on Ungan's leg. Pulls. The lion is stronger. So much stronger. The tent mate loses his grip. Watches Ungan disappear into darkness. Screaming. The screaming continues for maybe 30 seconds. maybe a minute. Hard to judge time when you are listening to a friend die. Then it stops, cut off mid-scream, then nothing, silence, terrible silence. The camp wakes up, everyone heard the screams. Everyone knows what happened. Guards rush to the tent. Too late. Always too late. They find the tent destroyed. Blood everywhere. A trail leading into the bush. No one follows it. Not at night. Not into darkness where a lion is feeding. That would be suicide. They wait for morning. Long hours of waiting. Knowing what they'll find. Not wanting to find it. Having to look anyway. Dawn comes. A search party forms. Follows the drag trail. Finds Ungan. Or what is left. The bones are scattered. Picked clean. The skull is crushed. Eaten. The brain consumed. The organs gone. The meat stripped from the bones with surgical precision. The efficiency is horrifying. This wasn't frenzied killing. This was methodical eating. The lion knew exactly what it was doing. Had done this before. Not to humans, maybe. But the technique was practiced. Perfect, professional. They gather the bones. What they can find. Bury them according to Sikh custom as best they can. Ungan's family back in Punjab will never know what happened. Will wonder why the money stopped coming. Will assume he abandoned them, or died of disease. Never the truth. The truth is too horrible, too specific, too detailed. Better to leave it vague. Lost in Africa. That is enough. That is all they need to know. The specifics would destroy them. Patterson investigates, examines the tent, the drag trail, the kill site, makes notes. Already thinking like a hunter, analyzing patterns, looking for weaknesses. He is confident he can handle this. One lion, one lucky attack. He'll track it, kill it, move on. He has dealt with dangerous animals before. This will be no different. He is wrong. This will be completely different. But he doesn't know that yet. Won't know until weeks later. Until dozens more are dead. Until he realizes he is not hunting a lion. He is engaged in a war with an intelligent predator that is learning faster than he is. 3 nights later, another attack. A worker named Muhammad Bucks. Different tent, different part of camp. The lions are adapting, not hitting the same area twice. Not being predictable. Muhammad is awake when it happens. Lying in darkness, trying to sleep. Can't sleep. Too aware of what happened to Ungan. Too conscious of the thin canvas between him and darkness. He is listening. Hearing every sound, every movement. Hyper. Aware. Hyper. Vigilant. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't help. Makes it worse. He hears it coming. Hears something moving outside the tent. Footsteps. Heavy. Deliberate. A large animal. His heart rate spikes. Adrenaline floods his system. He is frozen. Can't move. Can't scream. Terror has paralyzed him. The fight or flight response has chosen neither. Has chosen freeze. He watches the tent wall. Sees it move. Sees the canvas bulge inward. Sees claws appear through the fabric. 4 claws. 5. A paw. A massive paw pushing through. Then the whole side of the tent tears open, and there is the lion. The darkness. The darker one. Bigger than the first. More massive. More terrifying. Looking directly at him. Yellow eyes reflecting the distant firelight. Seeing him. Choosing him. Coming for him. Muhammad tries to run. Scrambles backward. Tries to get to the other side of the tent. To escape through the back. The lion is faster. Impossibly fast. Crosses the tent in one bound. Lands on him. The weight is crushing. 300 pounds of muscle and bone and predatory intent. Muhammad can't breathe. Can't move. The jaws close on his head. Not biting. Not yet. Just holding. The teeth are on his skull. Pressure. Incredible pressure. He knows his skull is about to crack. About to shatter. About to explode. He can feel it. Can feel the slow increase of pressure. The inevitable crushing. The end of consciousness. The end of everything. And then darkness. Not from death. From unconsciousness. The brain protects itself from trauma by shutting down. Merciful unconsciousness. He doesn't feel the dragging. Doesn't feel the feeding. Doesn't feel his death. Small mercy. Very small. But mercy, nonetheless. His tent mates run. Don't try to save him. Can't save him. The lion is too strong. Too fast. Too committed. They run screaming. Alert the camp. The guards come. Fire shots into the air. Try to scare the lion. It doesn't scare. Doesn't run. Takes its time. Drags Muhammad away at a leisurely pace. Stops once. Looks back at the humans. The guards swear later that it was sizing them up, choosing its next target, probably projection, probably human imagination applying intent where none exists, but maybe not. Maybe the lion was learning, observing, planning. We'll never know. What we do know is it took Muhammad and left, and the guards didn't pursue, couldn't pursue, were too afraid. And who can blame them? Who runs after a lion in the darkness? Who faces that willingly? No one. Not even armed men. Not even with rifles. The primal fear is too strong. The knowledge that you are facing an apex predator, that you could be next. That bravery is just suicide with better publicity. So they let it go. Let it take Muhammad. Waited for morning. Found what was expected. Bones and blood and scattered pieces. The pattern repeating. The nightmare continuing. After Muhammad, the attacks accelerate every few nights. Sometimes every night. The lions are establishing a pattern. Are learning the camp's rhythms. Learning when guards change. When people sleep most deeply. When defenses are weakest. They're intelligent. Adaptive. Skilled. They're becoming better at this. More efficient. More deadly. The death toll rises. 5, 10, 15. The numbers blur. The individual deaths merge into collective trauma. Each death is unique, is a person, a life, a story. But to the camp, they become statistics, became necessary psychological distance. If you acknowledge each death as a real person, you go insane. So you distance, you count, you track numbers instead of names, you protect your sanity at the cost of your humanity. No choice. Survival requires it. The workers start to break psychologically. The sustained terror is too much. Human minds aren't designed for this. Aren't evolved to handle prolonged predator pressure. We're supposed to be predators, not prey. Our psychology reflects that. When the dynamic reverses, we malfunction. Panic attacks become common. Men hyperventilate. Faint, scream at nothing. Jump at shadows. Attack each other in confusion and fear. The camp doctor, such as he is, has no treatment for this. Doesn't understand it. Attributes it to cowardice. To weakness. Tells men to pull themselves together. Be brave. Face it like men. Useless advice. Harmful advice. Blaming victims for trauma they didn't choose, for experiences that would break anyone. The doctor means well. Doesn't know better. Psychology is still primitive. Still judgmental. Still useless for actual treatment. Some workers self-medicate. Alcohol. Lots of alcohol. The camp has supplies. For the British supervisors mostly. But it finds its way to workers. Bottles are stolen. Shared. Consumed desperately, trying to dull the fear, trying to sleep, trying to not care if the lions come. The alcohol helps. Temporarily makes the fear distant, makes sleep possible. But it has costs. Hangovers mean worse performance, means more accidents, means more danger from the work itself. And drunk workers are easier prey. The lions take several drunk workers, then who stumbled from their tents to urinate, who didn't make it back, who were found in the morning partially eaten, reeking of alcohol. The irony is bitter. Drinking to escape the fear. Dying because the drinking made you vulnerable. No escape, no solution. Just different ways to die. The British supervisors are not immune. Several are attacked. The lions don't discriminate by class. A tent is a tent. The British expect protection. Expect their status to matter. It doesn't. One supervisor, a man named Brock, is taken from his tent. A better tent than the workers' sturdier canvas. Better location. Personal guards. Doesn't matter. The lion comes through anyway. Takes him anyway. The guards hear it. Do nothing. Too afraid. Brock screams for help. Screams their names. They listen to him die. Save themselves by sacrificing him. Live with that guilt forever. But they live. That is what matters. That is what survival means. Choosing your life over others. Hearing screams and doing nothing, becoming complicit in death through inaction. This is what the lions do. Not just kill. Transform survivors into people who let others die, who choose self-preservation over heroism, who learn that morality is a luxury you can't afford when you are prey. Patterson becomes obsessed. The hunting is no longer about protecting workers. It is personal. The lions are beating him, outsmarting him, making him look incompetent. He is British. He is educated. He is experienced. He is supposed to be superior. And two lions are defeating him. It is unacceptable. It is humiliating. It is infuriating. He devotes all his time to hunting. Neglects railway work. Neglects supervision. Neglects everything except killing these lions. His hunting blinds become more elaborate. his traps more complex, his methods more desperate. He sits in trees, on platforms in ditches, waits for hours, days, nothing. The lions seem to know where he is, seem to avoid him deliberately. Attack parts of camp far from his position. It is like they're mocking him, playing with him, teaching him humility. Whether they're actually that intelligent or it is just coincidence, the effect is the same. Patterson is being humiliated by animals. His racism, his colonial arrogance, his assumption of superiority, all confronted by reality. Two lions are smarter than him, better adapted, more skilled, and there is nothing he can do about it. The psychological warfare affects Patterson too. He stops sleeping, becomes paranoid, starts seeing patterns that aren't there, attributes intelligence to the lions that maybe they don't possess. Or maybe they do. Hard to know. The line between observant predators and malicious intelligences blurs when you are exhausted and frustrated, and afraid. He writes in his journal about the lions' evil, their demonic nature, their supernatural intelligence. Rational British engineer reduced to superstition by sustained failure, by inability to protect people under his authority, by watching men die while he tries and fails to stop it. The colony is supposed to demonstrate British superiority. Advanced civilization taming savage Africa. Instead, Africa is winning. Two lions are defeating the British Empire. Not in headlines, not in history books, but here, in TSAVO, in the mud and blood and terror, the Empire is losing. Let's talk about the sounds, because the visual horror is obvious. Canvas tearing, bodies being dragged, the aftermath. But the sounds are what haunts survivors. The specific noises that encode trauma into memory. The ripping of canvas has a particular sound. Fabric under stress. Fibers tearing, not all at once, progressively. Starting with small rips, growing larger, the sound of barrier failing, of protection being negated. Survivors hear that sound for the rest of their lives. Hear it in other contexts. A sail ripping. Clothes tearing. Any fabric under stress. Triggers panic. Triggers flashbacks. Triggers the memory of that sound, meaning death is coming. Imminent. Unstoppable. The screaming has textures. Early screams are loud. Surprised. Scared but still fighting. Still hoping. Those screams hurt to hear but are bearable. It is the later screams that destroy you. When hope is gone. When pain is overwhelming. When death is certain, those screams are primal. Are the human animal realizing it is being eaten? Realizing it is prey? It is food? The dignity of civilization stripped away, reduced to terrified animal sounds. Raw, wordless, pure expression of agony and terror. Those screams stay with you. Echo in your mind. You hear them decades later, clear as if they just happened. Can't unhear them. Can't forget. The sound of your species being reduced to prey. The sound of the natural order reasserting itself over the artificial order of civilization. Unbearable, unforgettable, permanent. The dragging has rhythm. The sound of a body being pulled across ground. Uneven, irregular. The lion pulling, pausing. Adjusting grip, pulling again, the body being limp. Dead weight, sometimes literally dead, sometimes still alive, still conscious, still aware of being dragged to death. The sound is specific, is distinct, is recognizable. Once you've heard it, you know it. And hearing it means someone is dying, someone is being taken, someone is about to be eaten, and you can't do anything, can't help, can't save them, can only listen, can only know, can only remember. The feeding sounds are worst, the wet sounds of meat being torn, of bones being crunched, of carnivores eating, efficient, methodical, taking their time. They're not in a hurry. They've learned humans won't interrupt, won't come after them in darkness, so they can feed leisurely, can enjoy the meal, can strip bones clean, can crack them open for marrow, can consume organs, can eat thoroughly. The sounds of this process carry. Sound travels at night, travels far. The whole camp can hear. Everyone knows what is happening. Everyone is forced to listen to a human being consumed, to their friend, their co-worker, their tent mate, being eaten, being reduced to nutrition for a predator. The sounds don't stop for hours. The lions are thorough. Take their time. Make sure everyone hears. Everyone knows. Everyone understands what they are. What can happen to them. What will happen if they're chosen. It is psychological warfare, whether intentional or accidental, whether the lions understand the effect or it is just byproduct of their feeding behavior. The effect is the same. Terror, sustained, inescapable, absolute. Then there is the silence after. When the feeding ends, when the lions have finished, when they leave, the silence is different than normal silence. Is heavier, weighted with knowledge, with loss. With trauma, no one sleeps after an attack. Everyone lies awake, listening, waiting, fearing it will happen again, fearing the lions will return. We'll take another. We'll keep killing until no one is left. The silence stretches. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like days. Dawn is salvation. Light is safety. Relative safety. But until dawn, there is just silence and fear and the knowledge that it could happen again. Tonight. The next night, any night, you are prey. You'll always be prey. Until you are dead, or until the lions are. One or the other. No middle ground, no compromise, no peace. Just predator and prey. The oldest relationship. The most fundamental, stripped of all complexity. All civilization. All illusion. Just survival. Just life and death. Just the question of who eats and who gets eaten. And right now, in TSAVO, in 1898, the answer is clear. The humans get eaten. That is the reality. That is the truth. That is what the sounds tell you every single night. Let's examine Patterson's specific hunting attempts in detail, because his failure is as important as his eventual success. Reveals how difficult it actually was, how formidable these lions were, how close he came to never succeeding. Attempt 1. Early in the attacks, Patterson builds a basic hunting blind near a kill site. The lions had killed a worker the previous night, partially eaten him. Lions typically return to kills. Basic predator behavior. Patterson sets up, brings his rifle, has a clear shot. Waits. The lions don't come. They never come back to that kill. Move on to fresh kills, fresh victims. Patterson waits all night, sees nothing. Hears another attack happening elsewhere in camp. Rushes there. Too late. Another man dead. The lions were never going to return to the old kill. They had access to fresh meat. Why would they eat something old when they could kill something new? Patterson learned. Adjusted his strategy. Tried again. Attempt 2. Patterson stakes out occupied tents. Positions himself where he can see multiple tents. Waits for the lions to attack. Intends to shoot them when they approach. The lions don't cooperate. Attack a tent outside his line of sight. The canvas. The terrain. The darkness. All conspire to block his view. He hears the attack. Can't see it. Can't take the shot. Rushes over. The lions are gone. Another victim taken. Another failure. Pattern emerging. The lions seem to know where he is. Seem to avoid his positions. Coincidence? Luck? Or are they actually that perceptive? That aware? Patterson doesn't know. Frustration grows. Attempt 3. Patterson tries bait. Ties a live goat where he can watch it. Builds a blind nearby. Waits. The goat is terrified. Bleats constantly. Pulls at its rope. Knows predators are near. Can smell them. Can sense them. The fear is contagious. Makes Patterson nervous. Makes him jumpy. Hour pass. The goat eventually quiets, accepts its fate. Waits for death. Patterson waits too. Nothing happens. The lions ignore the goat. Ignore the obvious bait. Attack the camp instead. Take another worker. Another human. They're not interested in goats. Not anymore. They've specialized. Become human hunters. Nothing else appeals. Nothing else satisfies. They found their prey niche and they're sticking to it. Patterson retrieves the goat in the morning. Unharmed. Alive. Lucky goat. Unlike the workers. The goat lives. The human dies. Nature's priorities inverted. Civilization's assumptions challenged. Attempt 4. Patterson uses himself as bait. Builds a platform in a tree. Sits there alone, exposed. Trying to lure the lions. Trying to prove his courage. Trying to get a shot. He is terrified. Admits it in his journal. Sitting alone, in darkness, in a tree knowing lions can climb. Knowing they might come for him. Knowing he has only his rifle between himself and death. The night is long. Longest of his life, he writes. Every sound is a lion. Every movement a threat. His nerves are shattered by dawn. He is exhausted, shaking, but alive. And he saw nothing. The lions didn't approach. Didn't take the bait. Attacked a tent on the opposite side of camp. Another death. Another failure. Patterson climbs down. Defeated. Humiliated. questioning everything, questioning his ability, his methods, his purpose. Why can't he kill these lions? What is wrong with him? What are these creatures that can evade him so consistently? Attempt 5. Patterson sets up on the ground. No blind, no platform. Just sitting in darkness with his rifle, positioned between tents. Hoping the lions will pass him, will give him a shot. It is desperate. It is dangerous. It is all he has left. He sits there. Hour pass, midnight, 1 am, 2 am. The danger hour. He is alert, ready. Finger on trigger, scanning darkness, trying to see, trying to hear, trying to sense the lions before they sense him. Nothing. 3 am, 4 am. Dawn approaching. Another night wasted. Another night without movement. He sees it. Something large, moving between tents, low to the ground, stalking. It is one of the lions. Finally he raises the rifle. Aims. The lion is moving. Hard to track in darkness. He waits for it to pause. To offer a clear shot. The lion stops. Turns. Looks directly at him. Can it see him? Can it know he is there? Impossible. He is downwind. He is motionless. He is hidden. But the lion is looking at him, directly at him. Yellow eyes reflecting starlight. Seeing him, knowing him. The moment stretches, man and lion, hunter and hunter, who is hunting whom. Patterson squeezes the trigger. The rifle roars. The flash blinds him temporarily. Night vision destroyed. He blinks. Tries to see. Smoke from the rifle. Darkness. The lion is gone. Did he hit it? Did he miss? He doesn't know. Can't know. Not until daylight. He waits. Dawn comes. He searches. No blood trail. No body. No evidence of a hit, complete miss. Or maybe a graze. Maybe he wounded it slightly. He'll never know. The lion is gone. The opportunity is lost. The failure is complete. After this, Patterson changes tactics. Stops trying to ambush. Starts trying to track. Follows the lions during the day. Tries to find where they're hiding. Tries to attack them in their den. It is dangerous. Wounded lions in confined spaces are extraordinarily deadly, but he is out of options, out of patience. He tracks them, follows signs, paw, prints, scat, disturbed vegetation, finds nothing. The lions have no den, no fixed location. They're nomadic. Keep moving, keep adapting. Stay ahead of him, always ahead. Weeks pass. The death toll rises. 2025. The railway company is panicking. Work has stopped. Workers are threatening to leave en masse. The project is failing. The empire is embarrassed. Patterson is blamed, is told to solve it, is threatened with dismissal, with disgrace, with ruin. The pressure is immense. He is barely sleeping, barely eating, entirely focused on the lions, on killing them, on ending this nightmare. But they won't cooperate, won't give him the opportunity, won't make the mistake he needs them to make. Then fortune changes, small incremental, but change. The ghost, the lighter lion, makes an error, returns to a kill. Maybe full from a previous meal. Maybe curious, maybe just coincidence. But it returns. Patterson is there, is waiting, not hoping, just habitual now. Sits in ambush more from routine than expectation. And the lion appears. Patterson can barely believe it. Can't afford to hesitate. Raises the rifle. Aims. The lion is partially obscured. Behind a bush. Not a perfect shot. Not the clear target he wanted. But it is the only chance he'll get. He fires. The lion roars. Hit. It is hit. It runs, crashes through bush. Wounded. Bleeding. Patterson pursues. Dangerous. Incredibly dangerous. But he can't let it escape. Can't let it survive. Can't miss this opportunity. He follows the blood trail. Finds the lion. It charges. Last attack. Dying but still dangerous. Patterson fires again and again. Empties the rifle. The lion falls. Dead. Finally dead. The ghost is dead. Patterson feels relief. Triumph. Vindication. Half the problem is solved. One lion dead. One to go. Surely the second will be easier. Surely it will leave now. Surely it will leave now. Surely it will revert to normal prey. Surely the nightmare is ending. He is wrong. The darkness doesn't leave. Gets worse. Gets more aggressive. Like it knows its partner is dead. Like it is angry. Like it is seeking revenge. Which is impossible. Lions don't think like that. But try telling that to the workers who see the pattern. Who experience the escalation. who die more frequently after the first lion is killed. Whether it is revenge or coincidence, or just the remaining lion adjusting its hunting pattern, the effect is the same. More deaths, more terror, more proof that this nightmare isn't over. Not yet, not while the darkness hunts. 3 more weeks, 10 more deaths, maybe more. Record keeping has broken down. The company has stopped recording, stopped acknowledging, just keeps disposing of bodies, keeps trying to maintain the fiction that everything is under control. Patterson hunts, obsessively, maniacally, sleeps 2 hours a night, spends the rest hunting, waiting, tracking, trying everything. Failing repeatedly, the darkness evades him, outsmarts him, continues killing, continues feeding, continues proving that humans aren't apex predators, are just meat, just food, just prey for a sufficiently skilled hunter. Then the final hunt. Patterson is in his platform, same one he has used before, not expecting success. Just waiting because that is what he does now. Waits. Hopes. Fails. The routine is familiar. Comfortable almost. The desperation has become normalized. He has accepted that he might never kill this lion. Might fail. Might watch it kill until there are no workers left. Might preside over the complete failure of the railway project. Might go home in disgrace. Has accepted all of this. The acceptance brings a kind of peace. If he fails, nothing more he can do. He has tried everything. The lion is better. That is all. Nature wins. Empire loses. That is the truth he has internalized. That is the surrender he has accepted. The lion appears, the darkness, walking through camp, bold, confident, not even trying to hide, just walking, like it owns the place, which, in a sense, it does. It is the apex predator here. Humans are just residents in its hunting ground. Patterson sees it, can't believe it. The lion is close, broadside shot. Perfect angle, perfect distance, perfect light from the fires, perfect conditions, too perfect, suspicious. Is it a trap? Can lions set traps? Ridiculous thought, but he thinks it anyway. Dismisses it, raises rifle. Aims carefully, can't afford to miss, can't afford to wound. This is the shot, the only shot. The last chance he breathes, holds the breath, squeezes, the rifle kicks, the sound echoes, the lion bolts. Hit, he thinks so. Hopes so. Blood trail is visible, even in firelight. Substantial blood. Good hit. Maybe killing hit. The lion runs. Into darkness, into the bush. Patterson wants to pursue. Can't, not at night, too dangerous. Has to wait. Wait for dawn. Wait to confirm. Wait to know if it is finally over. Dawn comes, feels like years. Patterson gathers men. Armed men, brave men. They follow the blood trail. It is heavy. The lion lost a lot of blood. It is badly wounded. Maybe dead already. Maybe lying somewhere in the bush. Dead or dying. The trail leads into thick cover. Dangerous ground. Perfect ambush territory. The men are afraid. Don't want to go further. Patterson goes alone. Has to know. Has to finish this. Pushes into the bush. Finds the lion. It is alive. Wounded but alive. It sees him. Recognizes him. The recognition is visible, mutual. Hunter and prey. Predator and predator. One final confrontation. The lion charges. Last attack. Dying attack. Patterson fires. The lion keeps coming. He fires again. Again the lion falls. Slides. Stops at his feet. Dead. Finally dead. The darkness is gone. Both lions are dead. 9 months of horror. Over, finished. Ended. Patterson collapses physically, emotionally, can't stand, can't process, can barely believe it is real. The lions are dead. Both of them. The nightmare is over. The workers can sleep safely. The railway can continue. The Empire's project can proceed. He has succeeded. Defeated the lions. Restored order. Proven human superiority. Except he doesn't feel superior. Feels lucky. Feels like he barely won. Feels like the lions could easily have won. Like the entire outcome was contingent on fortune. On chance. On factors beyond his control. He killed them. But they nearly killed his spirit first. Nearly broke him. Nearly won. The victory feels hollow. Feels less like triumph and more like survival. Like escaping disaster by the narrowest margin. Like winning a war after losing too many battles. The workers celebrate, genuinely, ecstatically. The terror is over. The deaths have stopped. They can sleep, can work, can live without constant fear. The relief is overwhelming. is transformative, is the emotional equivalent of being released from prison, from torture, from hell. They dance, sing, pray. Thank their gods, thank Patterson, thank fate, thank whatever allowed them to survive, to outlive the lions to see this day. The celebration lasts into the night. Fires burn high. Voices are loud. Joy is unrestrained. For one night, TSAVO is happy. For one night, the trauma is forgotten, replaced by relief, by joy, by the simple pleasure of being alive. But the trauma doesn't leave, can't leave, is too deep, too pervasive, too embedded in their psyches. The celebration is temporary. The nightmares are permanent. Within days, the reality sets in. The lions are dead, but the fear remains. The safety is restored, but the sense of safety isn't. You can kill predators. Can't kill the awareness that predators exist. Can't unkill the knowledge that you are vulnerable. That civilization is thin. That nature can destroy you. That you are prey. Always prey. Sometimes protected. Never safe. Not really. Not at the deepest level. The TSAVO survivors learn this. Carry this knowledge. Live with it forever. The lions are dead. The fear isn't. Can't be. Will never be. The bodies of the lions are examined, measured, photographed. Specimens collected. Science wants to understand, wants to explain, wants to fit this aberration into normal categories. The examinations reveal details. The ghost had a broken tooth, an old injury, probably made hunting normal prey difficult, but not impossible. Lions with injuries hunt successfully all the time. The broken tooth is a factor, not an explanation. The darkness had no obvious injuries, was healthy, was prime, had no excuse except choice. Chose to hunt humans, preferred humans, for reasons unknown, unknowable. The lion can't explain, science can't explain. We're left with mystery, with the uncomfortable possibility that sometimes predators choose humans, just choose us. Not from necessity, from preference, from learning, from success breeding repetition. They tried hunting humans. It worked, it was easy, they continued. That is the explanation. Not satisfying, not complex, but probably accurate. They hunted us because they could. Because we were prey. Because that is what predators do. The skins are preserved, eventually sold, eventually displayed. Patterson writes his book, becomes famous. The story spreads, becomes legend, becomes exaggerated. The details get confused. The numbers get inflated. Patterson's role gets enhanced. The workers' experiences get minimized. History is written by victors, by the literate, by people with platforms. Patterson had all three. The workers had none. So history remembers Patterson the hunter, forgets the workers who were hunted, remembers the lions as villains, as monsters, as aberrations, forgets they were just animals, just predators doing what predators do. Hunting prey. The prey happened to be human. That is the only unusual part. The hunting itself is natural, normal, expected. We're just not used to being the prey. Are shocked when it happens. Call it monstrous. Call it unnatural. Call it evil. It is none of those. It is just nature. Doing what nature does. Reminding us we're part of the food chain. Not above it. Just better protected. Usually. Not always. Not in TSAVO. Not in 1898. Not for 9 months when 2 lions showed us our real place. Our true status. Our actual vulnerability. The lesson was expensive. Paid in lives. In trauma. In permanent psychological damage. But it was learned. Can't be unlearned. Shouldn't be forgotten. And that is the legacy, not the railway. The railway is gone now, replaced, updated, modernized. The original railway Patterson was building doesn't exist anymore, has been superseded, made obsolete, forgotten. But the story remains. The story remains. The lions that hunted humans. The 9 months of terror, the deaths, the trauma, the reminder that we're not as safe as we think, that nature is still dangerous, that predators still exist, that we can still die, can still be prey. The story persists because it touches something fundamental, something true, something we need to remember. That civilization is fragile, that safety is contingent, that we're animals, vulnerable animals, protected by technology and cooperation. Remove those protections and we're meat. Just meat. The TSAVO lions proved it. For 9 months. 28 deaths or 135. The exact number doesn't matter. Each death proved the same point. We're prey. Always have been. Always will be. We just usually forget. TSAVO was the reminder. Brutal, bloody, traumatic, necessary. We needed to remember some workers paid with their lives, others paid with their sanity. The price was high, the lesson was learned. Don't forget, can't afford to forget. The moment we forget, we become vulnerable again. The moment we assume we're safe, we create conditions for the next TSAVO. The next reminder, the next lesson, paid for in blood, in terror, in nightmares that never end, in trauma passed through generations, in the knowledge that we're not apex predators, just temporarily advantaged prey. And advantages can be lost. TSAVO showed us how, showed us what happens when, showed us the cost. Remember, always remember. The lions are dead. The lesson lives. Must live, must be preserved, must be passed on, so we never forget, so we stay vigilant, so we maintain our defenses, so we never again have to learn what the TSAVO workers learned, what being prey actually means, what being hunted feels like, what 9 months of terror does to a human mind, what death sounds like when it is your friend being eaten, what survival costs when you are living in fear, what it means to be human in a world where humans aren't guaranteed safety, aren't guaranteed survival, aren't guaranteed anything except the possibility of being prey. That is TSAVO. That is the truth. That is the lesson. Remember it. Remember them. Remember the darkness that hunted. Remember the ghost that killed. Remember the workers who died. Remember the survivors who broke. Remember all of it. Because forgetting means risking repetition. And no one should have to experience what those workers experienced. What TSAVO was. What those 9 months meant. The cost was too high. The trauma too deep, the lesson too brutal, but it was learned, and it must be remembered. Must be for all of us, for all time. Remember TSAVO. Remember the man-eaters. Remember that we're prey. Remember, always remember. But let's go deeper into what life was actually like during those 9 months. The day-to-day existence when you are living under constant threat of predation, when every sunset brings terror, when every sunrise brings relief so profound it is almost religious. The psychology of prey. The transformation it causes, the ways it changes you permanently. You wake before dawn, always before dawn, because dawn means the lions are gone. Lions hunt at night, are crepuscular, technically. Most active dawn and dusk. But these lions have adapted, have learned to hunt deep night, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. mostly, the darkest hours, when humans sleep deepest, when guards are most tired, when the fires burn lowest. That is when they come. That is when death visits. So you wake before dawn, greet the light, feel the tension drain from your body as darkness lifts. Another night survived, another lottery won, another day of life granted. The camp wakes slowly, men emerge from tents, check neighbours, see who is still alive, who made it through the night. Sometimes everyone is accounted for. Those are good mornings, mornings of relief, of gratitude, of hope that maybe the lions have moved on. Maybe the attacks are over. Maybe the nightmare is ending. Those hopes are usually crushed within days. Within hours sometimes, the lions haven't moved on, are still there, still hunting, still feeding. The pattern continues. The nightmare persists. Other mornings are bad. Someone is missing. A tent is destroyed. Blood is visible. Everyone knows what happened, but no one wants to confirm it. Don't want to find the body. Don't want to see what the lions left. But someone has to look. Someone has to track. Someone has to find the remains and bring them back for burial. That duty rotates, falls on different people. No one volunteers, everyone dreads their turn. Finding what is left of a friend, what the lions didn't eat, what they left behind, the bones, the scraps, the pieces. It changes you, seeing that, handling that, burying that. Can't unsee it. Can't unknow what human remains look like after lions have fed. The image stays, forever. Burned into memory, recurring in dreams, intrusive in waking thoughts. The price of survival is witnessing death. Intimate, detailed death of people, you know. The work continues, has to continue. The railway won't build itself. The British Empire doesn't care about lion attacks, cares about schedules, about budgets, about progress. The workers are told to work. No choice, no option to refuse. You need the wages. Your family needs the money. So you work, even traumatized, even knowing that tonight might be the night you die. You work, lay rails, move earth, build bridges, do manual labor in African heat. Exhausting work, dangerous even without lions. Men die from accidents, from heat stroke, from disease, The lions are just one more danger, just one more way to die, in a place designed to kill you. The work is slower than before the attack started. How could it not be? Everyone is exhausted from lack of sleep, from constant fear, from the psychological burden of sustained terror. Productivity drops. The supervisors notice. Don't care why, just care that quotas aren't being met. They push harder, demand more, threaten punishment, threaten termination, as if firing someone is worse than being eaten, as if losing your job is the greatest fear when lions are hunting you. The disconnect is total. The supervisors live in a different reality, sleep in better tents, have better protection, haven't watched friends die, don't understand, won't try to understand. You make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Tired minds don't focus well. Fearful hands aren't steady. You drop tools, miss measurements, make errors that would be embarrassing in normal times. In these times, they're dangerous. A dropped hammer nearly crushes someone's foot. A missed measurement means a rail doesn't fit, has to be removed, redone. Wasted time, wasted effort. The foreman screams, threatens. You apologize, try harder, make more mistakes. The cycle continues. Exhaustion breeds error. Error breeds punishment. Punishment breeds more exhaustion. No escape, no relief. Just grinding forward through days that feel endless, through work that feels meaningless, through existence that feels barely distinguishable from death. You are alive but not living, surviving but not thriving, just existing, waiting, hoping, fearing. Lunch is a break, sort of. You stop working, eat meager rations, usually rice, sometimes lentils, rarely meat. No one wants to eat meat anymore, not after seeing what happened to humans who became meat. The irony isn't lost. You are reluctant to eat animals while being hunted by animals. The food chain made visible, made personal. You eat rice, drink water. The water is questionable, probably contaminated, probably causing dysentery. But you need fluids, need energy. So you drink. Accept the risk. Dysentery might kill you eventually. The lions might kill you tonight. Choose your death. All choices lead to suffering. Conversations during lunch are subdued. Quiet. Men don't talk about the lions directly. Don't say the words, don't name the fear. Talking about it makes it real, makes it present. So you talk around it. Talk about other things. Home. Family plans for after the railway is done. As if there will be an after, as if you'll survive to see it. The conversations are fantasies, shared delusions. Everyone participating in collective denial. Pretending things are normal. Pretending you are not being hunted. Pretending safety exists. The pretense is necessary, is protective, is the only way to maintain sanity. Acknowledge the full reality and you break, so you deny. You pretend. You talk about anything except the truth. Some men pray, constantly. Throughout the day they've become more religious, since the attack started, found God in the face of death, or remembered the God they'd forgotten. The prayers are desperate, pleading, not the calm devotions of peace, the frantic negotiations of terror. Please protect me. Please spare me. Please let me survive. Please let it be someone else. That last prayer is whispered, shameful, but honest. Everyone thinks it, few admit it. Better someone else than me. Better their death than mine. The arithmetic of survival. The mathematics of predation. Someone will die. Let it not be me. Selfish. Human. Universal. A prayer of prey throughout history. Don't let the predator choose me. The afternoon is long. The heat is oppressive. Kenya in March. Dry season. Temperatures above 30 Celsius. 90 Fahrenheit. Direct sun. No shade on the construction site. No relief. You sweat through your clothes. Dehydrate. Feel dizzy. Weak. The overseers don't care. Keep working. Drink water when you can. Keep moving. Keep building. The railway must progress. Your comfort is irrelevant. Your welfare is irrelevant. You are labor. Replaceable labor. There are thousands more where you came from. Die and another takes your place. The calculation is simple, brutal, effective. As afternoon fades toward evening, the fear returns, intensifies. Evening means approaching night. Night means the lions. The transition from day to night is psychological torture. Watching the sun sink, watching shadows lengthen, watching light fade. Each moment of fading light is a moment closer to darkness, to danger, to the possibility of death. You can't stop it, can't prevent sunset, can only watch it happen, can only feel the dread building. The fear accumulating, the terror crystallizing into physical symptoms, rapid heartbeat, shallow breathing, sweating beyond what heat explains, trembling hands, nausea, the body preparing for threat, for danger, for fight or flight. Except there is nowhere to fight, nowhere to flee, just your tent, just canvas, just the illusion of safety, just waiting in the dark. The evening meal is quick, hasty. No one wants to be outside after dark. The cooking fires are built up, made large, made bright. Fire is supposed to keep lions away, supposed to. The TSAVO lions don't care, come despite the fires, hunt despite the light. But the fires provide psychological comfort, provide the illusion of protection, provide something to do. Tend the fires, feed them, keep them burning, keep the darkness back, symbolic, ineffective, but necessary. The alternative is sitting in darkness doing nothing. At least fire, tending gives purpose, gives action, gives the feeling of control even when control doesn't exist. You eat quickly, return to your tent, check it for damage, for tears, for weak points. Not that it matters. The lions rip through canvas regardless. But you check anyway, do something, anything. Exert control where you can, where it is possible. The tent is the same as yesterday, same as it will be tomorrow, assuming you survive tomorrow. Assuming the lions don't choose you tonight, assuming the canvas holds, assumptions stacked on assumptions, none guaranteed, all necessary for psychological survival. Night falls, darkness is complete, African darkness. No light pollution, no electric lights, just fires, just stars, just the moon when it is visible. The darkness is thick, physical, oppressive. You lie in your tent, don't undress, sleep in your clothes, shoes on, ready to run if needed. Not that running would help, the lions are faster, but the illusion of readiness is comforting, the pretense of preparation, the fantasy that you could escape if you needed to. You couldn't, you won't. But believing you might helps you lie down, helps you close your eyes, helps you attempt sleep. Sleep doesn't come easily. Your mind is racing, listening, analyzing every sound. Is that footstep a guard or a lion? Is that rustle wind or a predator approaching? Is that breathing your tent, mate, or something outside? Every sound is threat. Every silence is suspicious. No sound means something is wrong. Too much sound means danger is approaching. There is no safe level of noise, no comfort in any auditory environment. Your hearing is hyper-sensitized, evolved to detect threats, doing its job too well, hearing everything, unable to filter, unable to relax, unable to distinguish actual danger from imagined threat. You might sleep briefly, minutes, never hours, never deep sleep, never REM, just light sleep, surface consciousness, ready to wake, ready to respond, ready to die awake rather than being taken unconscious. The preference is strong, irrational. If you are going to die, you want to know it is happening, want to see it coming, want to fight even if futile, want to die conscious, aware, facing your death, not asleep, not unaware, not simply ceasing to exist without knowing. The preference is universal among the workers. Everyone feels it, no one discusses it, but everyone shares it. This basic human need to face death consciously, to not disappear into nothing without awareness, to die awake. The hours between midnight and dawn are endless. Time stops having meaning. A minute feels like an hour. An hour feels like eternity. You lie there, awake, listening, waiting. Sometimes your tent, mate talks. Whispers, can't sleep either. You have brief conversations, memories of home, plans for the future, anything to pass time, anything to distract from the present, from the fear. From the waiting, the conversations help. Briefly. Then silence returns, heavier than before. More oppressive. The voice was an intrusion of humanity into the darkness. Its absence makes the darkness worse, makes the isolation more complete, makes the vulnerability more acute. Around 2 a.m., the danger peaks. This is the killing hour. When most attacks happen, everyone knows it. The fear is maximum. Every sound is magnified. Every moment is potential death. You are frozen, not moving, barely breathing, as if stillness will save you. As if the lions hunt by motion, they don't. They hunt by scent, by sound. By knowing where the tents are, your stillness changes nothing, but you remain still anyway. Primitive instinct, prey behavior, don't move, don't be seen, don't be noticed. Maybe the predator will pass, Maybe it will choose someone else, maybe you'll survive. Tonight, this night, one more night. Sometimes you hear attacks, not your tent, other tents. The sounds are distinct now. You've heard them enough. Know the sequence. Tearing canvas, brief scream. Cut off quickly, dragging sounds. Then silence. Then, later, feeding sounds. You lie there listening. Grateful it wasn't you. Guilty for feeling grateful. Knowing someone died. Someone you probably know. Someone you worked with. Ate with. Talked with. They're being eaten right now. While you lie here safe alive. Spared for tonight. The survivor's guilt is immediate. Is unavoidable. Is crushing. But less crushing than being dead. So you accept it. Carry it. Add it to the burden you are already carrying. The weight of survival. The cost of being chosen to live while others die. Dawn is salvation, the first light, the end of darkness, the retreat of lions, the return of relative safety. You emerge from your tent, exhausted despite not sleeping, drained despite not exerting. The psychological cost of fear is immense, is depleting, uses resources your body doesn't have to spare. You are running on empty, on fumes, on nothing, but you are alive, still alive. Another night survived. Another morning greeted. Another day won. The relief is physical, is emotional, is spiritual, is total. Dawn means you lived, means the lions didn't choose you, means another day. Another chance, another lottery ticket in the survival. Drawn. But the knowledge is always there. Tonight will come again. The lions will hunt again. The lottery will run again. And your luck isn't infinite. Can't be infinite. Eventually, statistically, you'll be chosen. You'll be the one screaming, the one dragged, the one eaten, the one who doesn't see dawn. The knowledge sits in your stomach like a stone, heavy, immovable, undeniable. You are going to die. Maybe not tonight, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, probably soon. The odds are against you. The lions are efficient. The deaths continue. Your turn is coming, just a matter of when. The certainty of future death combined with uncertainty of timing is psychologically devastating. Worse than knowing when you'll die. Worse than knowing you are safe, just knowing that death is coming. Sometime, without knowing when, without being able to prevent it, without any control, just waiting, just existing, just surviving one day at a time until you don't. The cumulative effect over 9 months is profound. You are not the person who arrived in TSAVO. That person is gone. Dead in all ways except physical. The person you've become is hard. Numb, disconnected from emotion, disconnected from hope. Disconnected from everything except base survival. You don't plan for the future, don't think beyond today. Can't afford to. Future doesn't exist when you might die tonight. Only now exists. Only today. Only the next few hours until darkness returns and the lottery runs again. Your world has shrunk to the immediate, to the present, to the desperate clinging to moments of life. Everything else is gone. Ambition. Dreams. Personality. The things that made you human beyond biology. All stripped away by sustained terror, all sacrificed to survival, all lost to the simple, brutal mathematics of predator and prey. And you are aware of the loss, aware of what you've become, aware that even if you survive, even if you leave TSAVO, even if you live a long life afterward, you'll never recover this. Never recover who you were. The trauma is permanent. The damage is done. Surviving TSAVO doesn't mean escaping it, just means carrying it with you. Forever. The lions will die. You'll live. But the fear won't die. The nightmares won't end. The hypervigilance won't relax. The knowledge that you are prey won't fade. You'll carry TSAVO for the rest of your life. We'll wake up decades later in cold sweats. We'll jump at sounds. We'll never feel completely safe. We'll never sleep deeply. We'll never trust darkness. We'll never forget the feeling of being hunted, of being food, of being chosen to die and managing to survive anyway. The survival is victory, but the cost is everything. Everything you were, everything you might have become, all sacrificed, all lost, all paid to the lions, not with your life. Your humanity, your ability to be anything except afraid. That is what being hunted does. That is the price. That is what TSAVO takes from you. Not your body, yourself. And there is no getting it back, no recovering, no healing completely. Just learning to live as a damaged person, as a survivor, as prey that escaped barely temporarily, until the next threat, the next danger, the next reminder that you are not safe, have never been safe, will never be safe. Not really. Not at the deepest level. Not after TSAVO. not after being hunted, not after knowing, truly knowing, but you are meat. The work you do during the day becomes automatic, mechanical. You're not really present, just going through motions. Your body works while your mind is elsewhere, preparing for night. Planning survival, calculating odds. Your co-workers are the same. Everyone is physically present, mentally absent. The work gets done, but poorly. Slowly, the supervisors complain, threaten, don't understand why productivity is down, can't understand that you are working while expecting to die. That focus is impossible when you are terrified. That quality control doesn't matter when you might be eaten tonight. Their priorities and yours have diverged completely. They care about railway progress. You care about surviving until tomorrow. The two concerns don't overlap, don't even occupy the same universe of importance. Accidents increase, not just from the lions, from exhaustion, from inattention, from not caring about safety when death is coming anyway. Why avoid a falling rock when a lion might eat you tonight? Why be careful with explosives when predators are hunting you? The normal risk assessment calculus breaks down. The background risk of death is so high that incremental risks become irrelevant. This leads to carelessness, leads to injury, leads to death from causes that should be preventable. The lions kill directly, but they also kill indirectly by destroying your ability to care about other dangers. By overwhelming your threat assessment, by making everything except lion attacks seem trivial. The total death toll from the TSAVO period isn't just lion victims. It is also workers who died from accidents they would have avoided if they weren't traumatized, if they weren't exhausted, if they weren't focused entirely on surviving the night. Those deaths don't get counted, don't get attributed to the lions, but they're casualties nonetheless. Victims of the psychological warfare, the lions are conducting whether they intend to or not. Some workers develop strange coping mechanisms, rituals, superstitions, lucky charms, specific prayers, specific sleeping positions, things that have no logical connection to safety, but provide psychological comfort. A man sleeps with a specific stone under his pillow, believes it protects him. It doesn't, but belief is powerful, is sustaining, is necessary. Another man recites a specific prayer sequence exactly the same way every night. If he forgets a word, he starts over. The repetition is soothing, is grounding, is a way to exert control in an uncontrollable situation. The rituals don't work, can't work. The lions don't care about stones or prayers, but the workers don't know that, or do know but choose to believe anyway, because the alternative is accepting complete helplessness, complete vulnerability, complete lack of agency. That is psychologically unsustainable. So they create agency, create control, create protection, all imaginary, all ineffective, all absolutely necessary for maintaining sanity. You develop your own ritual. Every night before lying down, you check the tent perimeter, walk around it, look for tracks, for signs of lions. You never find any. The lions are too smart to leave obvious signs, but you check anyway, every night. Same pattern, same sequence. If you skip it, you can't sleep. The anxiety is too much. The ritual provides structure, provides a sense of having done something, of having tried, of not being completely passive. It is meaningless, but meaning isn't the point. Comfort is the point, and the ritual provides that, barely, minimally, but enough to lie down, enough to close your eyes, enough to attempt rest. That is all you need, all you can expect. All that is available in TSAVO in 1898, when lions hunt humans and humans have no defense except hope, and ritual, and prayer, and luck. The social structure of the camp changes, normal hierarchies weaken, normal social rules bend. When everyone is equally vulnerable to predation, status matters less. The British supervisors discover their whiteness doesn't protect them from lions. The skilled workers discover their expertise doesn't matter. The strong workers discover strength is irrelevant when a 400-pound predator attacks. Death is the great equalizer, is the ultimate democracy. The lions don't discriminate, don't care about race or rank or skill, just about availability, about opportunity, about who is accessible when they're hungry. This levels the social playing field, creates a strange camaraderie, a shared understanding that you are all prey, all equally vulnerable, all equally terrified. The usual divisions matter less when you are unified by fear, by shared trauma, by the knowledge that you are all potential lion food. But this unity is fragile, temporary. Because survival requires selfishness, requires putting yourself first, requires sacrificing others to save yourself, and that destroys unity, destroys trust, creates paranoia, creates suspicion. If the lions attack, will your tent mate help you, or will he run? Will he sacrifice you to save himself? You don't know, can't know, he doesn't know either. Won't know until the moment comes, until he has to choose, until instinct takes over. And instinct is selfish, is self-preserving, is about individual survival, not collective welfare. So you can't trust him, can't trust anyone. They're all potential survivors of your death, all people who might live because you die, all people with incentive, subconscious incentive to let you be taken, to not intervene, to save themselves. The paranoia is rational, is justified, is corrosive, destroys relationships, destroys community, leaves you isolated, alone, even when surrounded by people, alone in the way that matters, alone in your vulnerability, alone in your fear, alone in the darkness, waiting for death. The mail from home becomes torture. Letters arrive irregularly, take months. Describe a world that doesn't exist anymore, a world where people worry about normal things, about money, about relationships, about social standing, about trivialities that seem absurd when you are being hunted by lions. Your family writes asking how you are, asking when you'll return, asking you to send more money. They don't know, can't know, you don't tell them. How would you explain? How would you put it in words? That you are waiting to be eaten, that you might be dead before this letter arrives, that you wake up every morning surprised to be alive. You can't write that, can't burden them, can't make them understand, so you write lies. Write that you are fine, that work is hard, but manageable, that you'll be home soon. Lies stacked on lies, necessary lies, protective lies, lies that maintain the fiction that everything is normal, that you are still the person who left home, that you'll return unchanged. All false. But the truth is unwritable, unthinkable, unacceptable. So you lie, and the lies distance you further, make you more alone, more isolated, more separate from the world that isn't being hunted, from the world that is safe, from the world you'll never fully rejoin. Some workers stop writing, stop communicating, accept that they're already dead, not physically, not yet, but psychologically, emotionally, they're ghosts. Already gone, just waiting for their bodies to catch up. These men are the hardest to watch. They've given up, stopped fighting, stopped hoping. They go through motions, but they're already absent, already departed. When the lions take them, it is almost a relief. They were dead already. The lions just made it official, made it physical, completed what trauma had started. These deaths are sad, but not shocking, not tragic in the way unexpected deaths are tragic. These are expected, inevitable, already incorporated into everyone's understanding of reality. The man was dead. Now he is dead. The change is minimal. The impact is muted. The grief is attenuated by the fact that he was already lost, already gone. The lions just collected what trauma had already claimed. You are not one of these men, not yet. You are still fighting, still hoping, still believing you might survive, might make it home, might see your family again. The belief is irrational. The odds are against you. The deaths continue. The lions show no sign of stopping. Patterson shows no sign of succeeding. Statistically, you are going to die. Probably soon. But you believe anyway. Choose to believe. Choose hope over acceptance. Choose fight over surrender. It is harder this way. More painful. More disappointing. Every night you survive is a temporary victory that just resets the game. Just gives you another night to lose. But you prefer this. Prefer fighting. Prefer hoping. Prefer the pain of trying and failing to the numbness of having given up. It is a choice. One of the few you have, maybe the only one. So you make it. Choose it. Commit to it. You'll hope until you can't. You'll fight until you are dead. You'll believe until belief is impossible. And maybe that is enough. Maybe choosing to fight, even when fighting is futile, is what separates the human from the animal. Maybe that is what the lions can't take from you. Can take your life. Can take your peace. Can take your safety. Can't take your choice to resist. To hope. To believe. Even when belief is irrational. Even when hope is groundless. Even when resistance is futile. You choose it anyway because the alternative is accepting you are already dead, and you are not. Not yet. Not while you can choose, not while you can hope, not while you can resist. The lions haven't won, not completely, not while you are still fighting, even if fighting is just lying in a tent waiting for dawn, even if resistance is just getting up tomorrow, even if hope is just believing tomorrow might come. It is enough, has to be enough, is all you have, all you can do, all that separates the survivor from the victim, the choice, the fight, the hope, tiny, fragile, inadequate, but yours to make, yours to keep, yours to hold on to even when everything else is taken. The lions can't have that, won't have that, not while you are alive, not while you are conscious, not while you are human. That is what being hunted teaches. Not that you are prey, but that you choose how to be prey, passive or active, accepting or resisting, given up or fighting. The choice is yours, always yours, until death takes even that, until the lions win completely, until you are gone. But not yet, not tonight, not while you are still here, still choosing, still fighting, still hoping, still believing tomorrow might come, might bring safety, might bring rescue, might bring the death of the lions and the end of the nightmare. Might, maybe, perhaps, tiny words, fragile words, words that mean nothing and everything, words that keep you alive, keep you human. In TSAVO, in 1898, when lions hunt and humans die and survival is luck, and death is random, and fear is constant, and hope is irrational, and fighting is futile, but you do it anyway, because you are human, because you can, because you choose to, because that is all you have left, that choice, that fight, that hope, however unlikely, however impossible. Still yours, still real, still enough, barely, just barely, but enough, for tonight, for tomorrow, for as long as it lasts. Until the lions win, or until they don't, until Patterson succeeds, until the nightmare ends, until you survive, or until you don't. But until then, until that moment, until death or safety, you'll keep choosing, keep fighting, keep hoping, keep being human despite everything. Despite the terror, despite the trauma, despite the lions, you'll keep choosing. Because that is what humans do. That is what separates us from prey. Not intelligence, not technology, not civilization. Choice, the ability to choose hope even when hopeless, to choose fight even when futile, to choose resistance even when powerless. That is what the TSAVO workers had, what they kept, what the lions couldn't take, what survived even when they didn't, what remains even when they're gone. The choice, the fight, the hope, the humanity, preserved, remembered, by those who came after. By those who learn the story, by those who understory, by those who understand what it means to be prey and choose to be human anyway. That is the real lesson of TSAVO. Not that we're vulnerable, we knew that. Not that predators exist, we knew that too, but that we can choose, can resist, can hope, even when hunted, even when terrified, even when dying, we can choose. And that choice matters, makes us human, makes us more than meat, makes us something worth remembering, worth honouring, worth preserving in memory even when the bodies are long gone. That is what we owe them, the TSAVO workers, the ones who died, the ones who survived, the ones who chose humanity even when treated as prey. We owe them memory, recognition, understanding that they chose, that they fought, that they were human, always human, until the end and beyond. The railway finally gets completed, years later, long after the lions are dead, long after the terror has ended. The Uganda Railway opens in 1901, connects Lake Victoria to the coast, becomes known as the Lunatic Line. Called that because critics said building a railway across East Africa was insane, was impossible, would bankrupt Britain. They were partly right. The cost was enormous, in money, in lives, in human suffering. But it got built, through desert and mountain and swamp, through disease zones and hostile territory, through TSAVO, where lions hunted humans for 9 months, where workers died, where Patterson killed the man, EATERS, where humanity learned again that we're not as safe as we think. The railway changes Kenya, opens the interior, enables colonization, brings settlers, brings commerce, brings civilization, as the British understood it. The railway workers, the ones who survived, don't benefit much. Most return home, to India, to Punjab, to Gujarat, carrying trauma, carrying memories, carrying the knowledge of what they survived. They tell stories, to families, to friends. Some are believed, many aren't. The stories sound too extreme, too horror, filled too much like fiction. Surely lions don't hunt humans like that. Surely it wasn't that terrifying. Surely they're exaggerating. They're not. They're understating if anything, because words can't convey the real experience, can't communicate what it felt like, what it did to them, what it took from them. The stories are inadequate, but they're all the survivors have, all they can offer, all they can leave behind. Some survivors prosper, return to India with savings, buy land, start businesses, build lives, but prosperity doesn't equal healing, doesn't equal recovery, doesn't equal recumbent normalcy. The trauma remains. The nightmares persist. The fear doesn't leave. They wake in the night, in cold sweats, hearing sounds that aren't there, seeing lions that don't exist, reliving attacks from decades ago. Their families don't understand, can't understand, don't know what happened in TSAVO. Just know that father is different, is damaged, is haunted by something he won't discuss. The trauma becomes family secret, family burden, family mystery. Why is grandfather like this? Why does he scream in his sleep? Why does he check doors and windows obsessively? Why can't he sleep in darkness? The children never learn. The grandchildren never know. The trauma gets diluted across generations. But it persists in behaviors, in patterns, in the way the family treats safety and danger. The lions are dead. The effect lives on, transmitted through generations who never knew the cause, who inherit the fear without understanding its origin. Other survivors don't prosper, return broken, unable to work, unable to function. The trauma is too severe. The damage too profound. They drift, struggle. Some end up destitute, begging, dying young from poverty and neglect, and the accumulated toll of trauma. No one connects their fate to TSAVO. No one sees the through line from being hunted by lions to dying in a gutter 20 years later. The connection isn't obvious, but it is real. The lions killed these men. Just took 2 decades to finish the job. Took years of nightmares and hypervigilance and inability to integrate back into society. Took years of drinking and isolation and slow deterioration. The lions killed them in TSAVO. They just didn't die until later. The death was delayed. But it was still the lions, still the price of being prey. Patterson's book sells well, goes through multiple editions, gets translated, spreads across the British Empire, becomes required reading for colonial administrators, for hunters, for anyone interested in Africa. The book makes Patterson famous, opens doors, creates opportunities. He parlays the fame into a military career, serves in World War I, rises to colonel, commands Jewish battalions, becomes a Zionist, a supporter of Jewish settlement in Palestine. His later life has nothing to do with lions, everything to do with politics and war and nation building. But he is always known as the man who killed the TSAVO man, EATERS. That is his identity, his legacy, his contribution to history. He dies in 1947, old respected, remembered. The workers who died in TSAVO are forgotten, but Patterson is remembered. History is unfair that way, remembers the hunter, forgets the prey. The lions themselves become specimens, objects of study, scientific interest. Museums want them. Scientists want to examine them, want to understand why they became man. Eaters want to extract data, want to learn. Patterson sells the skins and skulls to the Field Museum in Chicago for $5,000, a fortune in 1924. The museum displays them, mounts them, creates an exhibit. The man, Eaters of TSAVO. Thousands of people visit, look at the lions, read about the attacks, feel a safe thrill, the vicarious horror of predation without the actual danger. The lions are neutered by death, by taxidermy, by glass cases. They can't hunt anymore, can't kill, can only stand there, frozen, preserved, looking fierce but harmless. The visitors don't understand what these lions represent, don't grasp what they did, see them as curiosities, as historical artifacts, as interesting specimens, not as the creatures that systematically hunted humans, that terrorized hundreds of workers, that killed dozens, that proved humans are prey. The context is lost. The horror is sanitized. The reality is reduced to museum display. Modern analysis of the lions reveals details, DNA testing, isotope analysis, dental examination, science trying to understand what made them man, eaters. The findings are interesting. The ghost had extensive dental disease, multiple broken teeth, abscesses, painful chewing. Normal prey would have been difficult. Humans were softer, easier to eat. The darkness had less obvious pathology, was healthier, chose human hunting for less clear reasons, maybe learned from the ghost, maybe found humans easier than traditional prey, maybe just preferred us. The science provides partial explanation, not complete understanding. Can't explain why these specific lions, why this specific degree of success. The mystery persists. The questions remain. The lions are dead and dissected and analyzed, but they keep their secrets, keep their unknowability, remain ultimately mysterious despite all the science, despite all the study, despite all the effort to reduce them to data and explanation. They resist. Remain lions that hunted humans. That is the core fact, the irreducible truth. Everything else is speculation, interpretation, attempted understanding of something that might not be understandable, might just be random, might just be two lions that learned humans were food and acted on that knowledge. Simple, brutal, effective, until Patterson killed them, until the advantage shifted, until the prey fought back successfully, until the nightmare ended. TSAVO today is different, is a national park. TSAVO East and TSAVO West, protected areas, conservation zones. Tourists visit, see lions, see elephants, see the African wilderness in relatively pristine condition. The park rangers tell stories about the man-eaters, point out the approximate location of the attacks, the old railway bridge, the sites where workers died, but it is sanitized, made safe for tourism, made comfortable for visitors who want adventure without danger, who want to see wild Africa without being part of the food chain. The lions in modern TSAVO are habituated to humans, know that safari vehicles mean no threat, know that tourists are off limits, know that hunting humans brings swift retaliation. They've learned, been conditioned, been taught their place. The dynamic has reversed. Humans are dominant. Lions are subjects, objects of observation. Photographic targets, not predators, not threats. The power balance has shifted. Permanently, we hope, definitively, we assume. But TSAVO remembers. The land remembers. The wind through the acacia trees carries memory of screaming, of terror, of the 9 months when lions ruled and humans died. The tourists don't feel it, don't sense it, don't know. They take photos, enjoy the safari, go home with stories of amazing wildlife experiences. They don't know they're visiting a graveyard, a memorial, a place where humans learned they're not invincible, where the illusion of safety was shattered, where prey behavior was forced onto a species that forgot it could be prey. The tourists don't know, don't feel, don't understand. They visit TSAVO and see beauty. The survivors would visit and see horror, would feel the memories, would remember the fear, would never want to return, never want to be reminded, never want to relive even second-hand what they lived first-hand. TSAVO is beautiful now, was hell then. The difference is protection, is numbers, is rifles, is the technology and organization that keeps humans safe from predators. Remove those and TSAVO could be hell again, could be 1898 again, could be humans as prey again. The potential is there, the lions are there. The capacity for predation exists, only circumstance prevents it. Only constant vigilance maintains safety. Only perpetual defense keeps humans on top. Stop defending and we become prey again. TSAVO can teach that lesson again. Any time, any place, any predator that learns, that adapts, that chooses humans. The potential is permanent. The threat is dormant, not gone, never gone. Just waiting, just sleeping, just temporarily suppressed by civilization and technology and human dominance. But reversible, always reversible. Under the right conditions, given the right circumstances, it could happen again. Will happen again. Somewhere. Sometime. To someone, the cycle is eternal. Predator and prey. Hunter and hunted. Life and death. The TSAVO man. EATERS just made it explicit. Made it visible. Made it undeniable. We're part of the food chain. Always have been. Always will be. No matter how much we pretend otherwise. No matter how safe we feel. No matter how dominant we become. We're animals. Meat, the lions knew it, proved it for 9 months, until they died. But the proof remains. The knowledge persists. TSAVO remembers, the survivors remembered. History records, we must remember, must acknowledge, must understand, that we're not separate from nature, not immune to predation, not immune to predation, just temporarily advantaged, temporarily protected, temporarily safe. Remove the advantage and we're prey. Remove the protection and we're food. Remove the safety and we're victims. TSAVO proved it. The man-eaters demonstrated it. The workers paid for the lesson with their lives, with their sanity, with everything. That is the debt. That is what we owe. Memory, recognition, understanding. That it happened, that it was real, that it could happen again, that we're not safe, not really, not permanently, not without constant vigilance, not without perpetual defense, not without remembering what the TSAVO man, EATERS taught, that we're prey, always prey, sometimes protected, never immune. The lesson is eternal. The truth is permanent. The reality is inescapable. We're animals in a world of predators. Civilization obscures this technology, hides it, but it remains true. Always true. Forever true. TSAVO made it visible, made it undeniable, made it unforgettable for those who experienced it, and we must remember them, must honor them, must preserve their experience. Not because it is pleasant, because it is true, because it happened, because it matters. Because it matters, because forgetting invites repetition, because ignorance breeds vulnerability, because memory is protection, is warning, is the defense against complacency, against assuming safety, against forgetting we're prey. The TSAVO man, EATERS are dead. The lesson lives, must live, forever, for all of us, for our survival. Remember TSAVO. Remember the man, EATERS. Remember the workers. Remember the fear. Remember the nights. Remember the deaths. Remember the survivors. Remember that we're prey. Remember always, forever. Because forgetting is the first step toward becoming prey again. And no one should have to experience what TSAVO was, what being hunted means, what 9 months of terror does, what it costs to survive, what it takes from you. No one should have to learn that lesson firsthand, which is why we must remember it secondhand, must preserve it, must pass it down, must never forget. The TSAVO man EATERS of 1898. The lions that hunted humans, the workers who died, the survivors who broke, the nightmare that was real, the horror that happened, the truth that persists. Remember, always remember, that is what we owe them. That is what we owe ourselves. That is how we stay safe. By remembering we're not, by knowing we're prey, by understanding the threat, by never forgetting, never, not ever, not while humans exist, not while predators exist, not while the potential for being hunted exists. Remember TSAVO. Remember the darkness. Remember the ghost. Remember the workers. Remember the fear. Remember the truth. We're prey. We've always been prey. We just usually forget. TSAVO was the reminder, is the reminder, will always be the reminder of what we are, of what we can become, of what we must never forget. Prey, hunted, vulnerable, mortal, human. Remember, always, forever.